subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Relationship in naval headquarters has also become more and more delicate. Smoker has always been under attack by the Akainu camp because of his relationship with Aokiji. Therefore, it is normal for Doberman to stand up today to ridicule and add insult to injury. Doberman, Vice Admiral. Smoker was the best student in that class. Isn't it a little rash for you to assert that he can't become Vice Admiral now? How about I make a bet with you? At this time, the curly-haired man who had been sleeping in a corner of the office pushed the blue blindfold on his forehead and said calmly, "Admiral Aokiji." Okay, let's not talk about this. A middle-aged and elderly man with an afro head wearing a pair of frog glasses and a twisted chin mustache saw that the situation was a little tense and quickly waved his hand to signal them to stop arguing. Martial Marines Sengoku. There is another problem now. That is, Smoker has chased after Abbott regardless of the order, saying that he will bring the head of Lynn back to the headquarters to plead guilty. Sengoku then uttered a new message. What nonsense. Our Marine's face has already been lost by him once. Is it going to be lost a second time? A blushing man in Chinese characters who was directly opposite Sengoku's desk said coldly, "Admiral Akainu." That's right, although it's an East Blue, our Marine branch was smashed twice by a pirate. Even in the long history of Marine, it's rare. So this BD, named Lynn, must die. Vice Admiral, a veteran of the Akainu camp, echoed. Intel says this Lynn was at Whiskey Peak. Sengoku flipped through the information in front of him and said, "This guy has already offered a reward of 80 million. Those hyenas in Whiskey Peak should be eyeing them. Let's see how the situation is over there. Let's make a decision." Although Whiskey Peak are basically bounty hunters, don't count on those guys too much. They just bully weak pirates. But at this moment, Vice Admiral said, "You're right. My informant at Whiskey Peak just got word that Lynn and his gang just took out all the elite bounty hunters in Whiskey Peak and robbed them of all their belongings." Hiss. This Lynn may already have the strength of Rear Admiral. No wonder Smoker can't beat him. Report to the Marshal. The Bounty Hunter Guild has asked us for help. Please give me instructions. The Marshal's secretary sent up a message at this time. Sengoku pondered for a while, and then gave instructions. Vice Admiral of Huashishin is not near Magnetic Drum Island. Order him to intercept this Lynn. Yes. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 021. Reporter of World Economic News Lynn on board. Captain, this kind of behavior of yours will make them learn to be bad. Greed is the greatest enemy of our human beings, especially greedy for the most mundane things in the world. Ma Yin has a look of dislike for Lynn. Not long ago, at Whiskey Peak, the captain not only defeated those malicious bounty hunters, but also robbed them of their assets. She agrees with the previous behavior. After all, those who don't have eyesight are popular, but later she disagrees a bit. Ma Yin, Xiaorai seems to be a little older than you. Erina is 15 years old, and you're only 14 years old. You're the youngest here. By the way, you should call them older sister. Lynn reminded. Age doesn't mean anything. I was very independent when I was 7 or 8 years old. I have the most social experience. I am the most mature. Maine blushed. Really? Where did you mature? Then you gain experience but don't grow your body. Lynn scoffed at Cade. Ah, you were looking for a fight. May was annoyed. Yes, she also couldn't understand why Erina and Xiao Rai were not much older than her, but why they were so much older than her. Hateful. It's so unfair. Your Excellency Ma Yin, you are using this money for everything you eat and drink now. Humph. I can make money too. Wait for me, wait. I won't care as much as you do. It was indeed a cannibalism, and Ma Yin quickly retreated. When she returned to her room, she was still a little resentful. Not to mention Xiao Rai and Erina's extraordinary talents, she also discovered that in this BD's world, every adult woman is so extraordinary. And if he was not careful, he seemed to be a different kind in this world. I don't. From tomorrow, I will drink double the amount of milk, eat double the amount of papaya. Damn, Lynn, you wait. I'll impress you. She gritted her teeth. remembering the secret recipe she had just obtained from Nakiri Erina, and cheered up a little. And Lynn didn't bother to take care of her emotions. He was paying attention to the changes in his bounty. He even went so far as to smash up the local chapter of the Bounty Hunters Association during Whiskey Peak riots. If the head of the branch said that their relationship with Marine was correct, then Marine should offer him a reward to increase. However, it wasn't until 2 days later that the system didn't let him give up because there was no reminder of the reward. It seems that if it is not the Marine branch, the Marine side is too lazy to deal with other related cats and dogs. As for the prestige, because Whiskey Peak gathers all kinds of people and is very popular, Lynn's harvest this time is not inferior to that of Lodetown. Right now, the value is skyrocketing, and the total value has even reached 25,000. And Lynn guessed that the Bounty Hunters Association must have taken action against him. It is very possible that his information has already been sent to all the Hunter Association branches of the Grand Line. Brother Lynn, come out for a while. There seems to be a situation behind. At this time, Fomin Rai, who was in charge of the ship's navigation, came over. This is a very subtle method of sound transmission. Except for those who are very close to Lynn, it is difficult for those who are farther away to capture this sentence. As Lynn strengthens Fomin Rai with points every day, Fomin Rai's control over the Demeter system becomes more and more handy. This method of sound transmission comes from her control of air pressure. Coming, Lynn will go out immediately. Secretly, he kind of hopes that there will be observation hockey in the treasure chest rewarded at level 3. Although Xiao Rai can sense the movements around the ship for several miles, she can't be online all the time and be extra precise. In addition, she also needs to rest. Moreover, the observation hockey is extremely effective in combat. If you drive to Katakuri's observation hockey that can foresee the future, Lynn gets excited just thinking about it. When I saw Xiao Haiori, I realized that what she said was that there was a ship following her. The boat has been following for half a day. At first, it was far behind, but after leaving the range of Whiskey Peak, it gradually accelerated to catch up. Now, the distance is only a few hundred meters. Obviously, someone is looking for it? Well, is it her? Lynn suddenly thought of a possibility. All the strong whiskey players were beaten to the ground by him. It is impossible for anyone to dare to catch up. The only possibility is... Whoosh! He didn't make any detours and went straight out for tens of meters, and then kicked moonwalk, jumped on the air, and landed on the opponent's boat. Since the opponent chased him to a distance of several hundred meters without shelling or anything, it can be seen that the opponent's intentions were not evil. Lynn also wanted to get straight to the point and see what the opponent wanted to do. Really? Mr. Lynn, hello! As soon as Lynn landed, a long-haired beauty with outstanding figure and gorgeous dress came up to say hello on the deck. Hello, big reporter Cybele? Lynn responded with a smile. Siebel is the chief correspondent at Whiskey Peak for World Economic News. When Lynn made a fuss about Whiskey Peak, she also stopped by to visit her. At that time, Siebel was dressed in a capable business attire, but now she is dressed up to greet her, which shows that she has intentions. Mr. Lynn, please, let's chat slowly while having afternoon tea. Sibel also smiled at Kate. Before this, she hadn't paid much attention to Lynn's visit. After all, as a reporter under the largest and most powerful media in One Piece world, there are too many people who come to her every day to provide or ask for information, and she cannot have the energy to cooperate with all of them. Although Lynn has a huge bounty of 80 million, there are many such characters on the Grand Line. Unexpectedly, Lynn later defeated almost all the bounty hunters in Whiskey Peak by herself, and she was amazed by her amazing strength. Sweeping this Whiskey Peak with one's own power. That is an unprecedented event. Therefore, she immediately made up for her mistake and did not hesitate to catch up with her personally. Bing treated Lynn with respect. Because she also needs to use the other party, Lynn doesn't care about the other party's lukewarmness before. This wave of afternoon tea conversation lasted for half an hour, and then Siebel sent Lynn a phone bug for special contact. Watching Lynn leave, Siebel couldn't help being a little disappointed. Because from the beginning to the end, Lynn never lost her eyes when she was dressed up, nor did she stop at some places that Siebel deliberately wanted to see. Is it because I'm not attractive anymore? Or Mr. Lynn doesn't necessarily like women? Siebel guessed with a bit of resentment. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time. April 29th to May 3rd. 022. Marine coming to intercept. Asking for a ticket. If Lynn knew she buyer's guess, she would definitely refute. It's not that you are not good enough. It's because my brother's requirements are a bit high. After all, among the three on his own ship, which one's appearance and figure are at least a level higher than that of Siebel. Now that we have established a relationship with the World Economic News, the next plan will be easy to handle. Lynn's requirements are not high. That is, to be able to raise her captain level to level 4 in the first half of the Grand Line, and has the strength to compete with Marine Admiral. Only when the level is raised to level 4, rivaling Marine Admiral, Lynn feels confident enough to go to New World. Even if there is a chance to recruit Admiral-level combat power during this period, it is good. You still have to fight your own way. There is also an information note on the system for level 3 captains, revealing an important piece of information. When you reach level 3 captain, you will unlock a very important system function. This should be the sweet bait released by the system to motivate itself to upgrade. It's only 20 million. It's a pity that there is no Marine branch on the nearest route. This Marine also doesn't know what is good or bad. If you raise it to 100 million, you will die. Lynn looked at the charts picked up at Whiskey Peak and couldn't help but sigh. Like the original book, this route starts from Whiskey Peak and then goes to Little Garden, Magnetic Drum Island, Alabasta, Gaia Island, Sky Island, Long Island, the capital of Seven Waters. Drum Island is in the original book because Nami was sick. If you follow the record pointer behind Little Garden, the next stop is Alabasta. The next stop is Little Garden. This place is a little tricky. Seeing Little Garden, Lynn touched her chin, a little worried. Little Garden is also a prehistoric island, which not only has prehistoric huge forests and big dinosaurs, but also various dangerous giant beasts. And in order to leave there and go to the next island, Alabasta, it takes a very long time to record the geomagnetism with the record pointer. Fortunately, Lynn got some pointers from those bounty hunters, and there is a permanent pointer to Alabasta. So don't worry about that for now. What really needs to be worried about is the personal safety of Nakiri Erina and Ma Yin. Nakiri Erina is a real ordinary person, and even if Ma Yin is a bit stronger, she's a sniper after all, so she's not much stronger. Lynn keeps this aspect in mind. He doesn't think it's a big problem. He doesn't stop at Little Garden, and he will stay on board the whole time for protection. It was also after leaving Whiskey Peak and truly entering the riotous environment of Grand Line that Lynn and others realized that the previous rumors describing Grand Line were a bit superficial. Sailing in this sea, not only can you see the 4 seasons, but also various extreme weather. Fortunately, with the increasingly powerful Shaori and the escort, the journey was safe and sound. Her Demeter system, in the face of extreme weather, has played an extremely amazing effect. In addition to extreme weather, there are also various huge sea beasts appearing during the period. There are huge ones, not even worthy of the boat under Lynn's feet. This world is too bad. I want to go home. Nakiri Erina, who couldn't bear it at first, even though Lynn and Xiao Haiori had vaccinated her, but she still broke down a little when she really saw it. Ma Yin was also shocked, but her mind had been brutally tempered since she was a child, but she would not lose her composure like Erina, who just said that this world is amazing and I like it a few days ago. Lynn couldn't help teasing and almost got hit on the head by a frying pan. Soon, Little Garden appeared in the distance. Just looking from a distance, everyone can clearly feel that the trees there are several times taller than usual. After waiting and entering, Lynn and others realized that they had still underestimated. The trees, grass, and shrubs here are all full of ancient atmosphere, and they are more than 10 times larger than the ones I have seen before. Walking in the only waterway that separates the island, the roars, bites, and howls of various beasts can be heard from time to time. You can also see traces of some giant beasts from the gaps in the forest. Then, that is Tyrannosaurus Rex? Why is this tiger as big as an elephant? Is this a prehistoric saber-toothed tiger? This made Ma Yin and Nakiri Erina tremble a little. Fortunately, Lynn is here. No matter which beast comes after smelling a strange smell, he will easily kill it. Lynn also immediately let the two of them go back to their own rooms. It's more than enough to have him and Xiao Rai outside. After sailing for half an hour, this is Marine. A ship suddenly appeared on the distant shore with a familiar flag hanging on it, which made Lynn's spirit come up all of a sudden. Unexpectedly, you can meet Marine here. This is a prehistoric wilderness, full of crises. How long ordinary pirates can survive in it is a question, and I don't know what Marine is here for. Shouldn't it be hunting down pirates? Could it be a treasure hunt? Lynn could only think of one possibility. From the narration of the original book, it can be seen that because of the existence of island eaters, most of the pirates who took this route were planted in Little Garden. These pirate groups vary from rich to poor, but they have accumulated over time, so the wealth hidden on this island is quite considerable. However, Lynn soon realized that she had guessed wrong. Because these Marines are coming for him, Pirate Lynn, it's him. Go report to Huashishin Vice Admiral. This BD finally appeared, causing Lousy to feed mosquitoes here for 3 days and 3 nights. Yes, it's disgusting. Wait a minute, and we have to deal with him. Let him know what Marine's iron fist is. Don't let him escape today. This guy smashed 2 branches of our Marine. As soon as Lynn's ship appeared, it was immediately spotted by the lookout on the Marine warship. As a result, the Marines on the entire warship were boiling. They had been waiting here for 3 days and 3 nights to intercept Lynn. After spending 3 days and 3 nights in this dangerous ancient wild land, one can imagine the various feelings in it. At this moment, their anger almost came out of their eyes. Wow, that helmsman of his is so beautiful. It's my type, just like an angel. My injury from being bitten by a Tyrannosaurus Rex seems to have been healed. Damn Lynn, how can he be in the same boat with such a fairy? Needless to say, this beautiful lady must have been coerced by him. There is no way he is an accomplice. But the next moment, when they saw Fomin Rai at the helm, many people's eyes straightened. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 0:23. Lynn vs. Burning Mountain. Third watch for tickets. The restlessness of the Marines also alarmed their chief, who was resting in the cabin. A burly vice admiral stepped out with a big cigar in his mouth and a samurai sword in hand. Marine Vice Admiral is on fire. Master Vice Admiral. Master Huashishin. The subordinates respected him very much, and when they saw him, they all greeted him with salutes, and they all became quiet, not daring to make noise. This kid looks very handsome, but in terms of physique, he is a little more delicate. Is he really that much stronger than Smoker? The female companion is very nice. She's a lucky kid. Huashishin squinted at Lynn and the others who were getting closer, and said calmly. Although he spoke in a gentle voice, he had already drawn out the samurai sword in his hand. His tenderness is only towards his own family, but towards pirates, he will not show any mercy. If not, he would not be the candidate for Vice Admiral to execute the Buster Call. However, Lynn showed mercy to Smoker, so he didn't have much killing intent. Therefore, his main goal today is to capture Lynn and bring him back to the headquarters. Boy, shall we go over there? He yelled at Lynn. With the strength of the two, this fight will inevitably hurt the ship. If there is no boat and stranded here, given the environment here, it would be like waiting to die. So, that's exactly what Lynn is thinking. So, the two quickly left the river with Moonwalk and went to an open grassland that Huashishin had chosen earlier. Damn it, how does this Lynn understand our Marines' Moonwalk? The saddest thing, isn't it that we, as Marines, haven't mastered this advanced physical technique? Well, don't talk about Moonwalk. I have learned the simpler iron body for 10 years, but I still only have the fur. Seeing Lynn cast Moonwalk, the Marines on the warship were in a commotion again. Since this Lynn is gone, can't we do it? First arrest his companion. What kind of companion? This little beauty must have been coerced by that BD Lynn. Well, I wanted to savor the moment I saw her, even if it cost me my life. Hey dog, wake up. Don't be an info. By the boat. We'll take care of it first, and Lord Vice Admiral will reward us extra. You guys are so clever. But Lord Vice Admiral will not be happy about this. Why are you unhappy? Huashishin Vice Admiral won the battle, and everyone is happy. If we lose, we still have hostages in our hands. No matter how you look at it, this matter is a sure win. At this time, Colonel Fett, Hiwashishin's adjutant, came out to support the fire. I have to say that although doing this is despicable, it is indeed a sure way to win. It makes sense, as expected of Adjutant Fett. Go for the duck. Don't treat pirates as human beings. Compared with them who want to burn, kill, and loot, we can't do too much. Yes, pirates are not human at all. We can't treat them according to common sense. When the adjutant expressed no objection, they rushed up with the warship. However, they don't know that they are about to usher in the darkest moment in their lives. The little angel in front of her, who looks as beautiful as a fairy, will turn into the scariest devil in the next moment, become their lingering nightmare in the future. Hiwashishin and Lynn landed in the middle of the grass field. You still have time to catch it now, so as not to suffer from flesh and blood. Hiwashishin shook the samurai sword in his hand and said lightly, I don't need to talk nonsense. I also want to know what level Marine's Vice Admiral is. I hope it won't be like Smoker, which is disappointing. Lynn smiled at Kate. Originally thought that I would face the ordinary Vice Admiral first, but this time it was the elite Vice Admiral, who was far more powerful than the ordinary Vice Admiral. Lynn had a premonition that this battle would be a hard one, because he can do it himself, and the opponent can do it too, and he has more absolute advantages in swordsmanship and observation hockey than him. Of course, Lynn's full-level armament hockey can match the two great advantages of Hiwashishin. Lynn understands that if she wants to defeat the opponent this time, the full-level armament hockey will be the only key. He also believes that with armament hockey in the state of emission, it is difficult to resist the burning mountain. Except, seeing Lynn mentioning Smoker, Hiwashishin's face darkened, and he no longer had the bright smile just now. The story of Smoker's embarrassment in Logue Town has already spread a lot. Although it hasn't affected Marine's face for the time being, it is a shame after all. However, it is impossible to make him mess up on the spot with such provocative words. 20 or 30 years of combat experience has turned him into an old fritter in this field. Dumb. Hiwashishin swinging the knife is a slash as a test. The flying slash, which was as white as a crescent moon, quickly flew towards Lynn, who was about 10 meters away, with a piercing killing intent. Just this flying slash can show how profound Hiwashishin's attainments in swordsmanship are. There are countless levels of swordsmen. In front of this cut, a ship of hundreds of meters covered with thick steel plates could easily be cut into two pieces. However, Lynn did something that shocked Hiwashishin. I saw that he didn't dodge, but rushed forward with a slash and punched. You are courting death. Don't blame me. Seeing Lynn take the cut with his bare hands, Hiwashishin smiled coldly. I've never seen anyone receive a swordsman-level slash like this. The flying slash of the sword hero level can be said to be the sharpest attack of the same level. Not even one. Are you picking it up with your bare hands? However, clang. It was as if the loud noise of gold and stone hitting each other suddenly exploded. Hiwashishin saw a scene that left him dumbfounded. The flying slash that he was proud of was broken by Lynn with his bare hands. Moreover, Lynn took this opportunity to kill him. So fast. Is it shaved? Also, this armament hockey is so strong. It's even above me. Although the reaction was a bit stretched in an extremely unexpected situation, Hiwashishin still relied on observation hockey's capture and blocked Lynn's next punch with a horizontal knife in time, but was still sent flying backwards by Pei Ron's vigorous force. Lynn is not only at the level of armament hockey, but her own strength is beyond his expectations. What a surprise! Looks like I can't hide anymore. Hiwashishin decided to go all out. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge. Activity time. April 29th to May 3rd. 024. Weaken Garp? No. He is stronger than his peer Garp. How powerful is the elite Vice Admiral with full firepower? At this moment, Lynn was also under great pressure. At the same time, he also knows how useful observation hockey is in battle. Although his Marine 6 styles and armament hockey are both full level, his accomplishments are far above Hiwashishin. But the other party persisted with observation hockey by relying on swordsmanship, and there were still exchanges. So this is the level of the elite vice admiral? If so, then my real strength is also at the level of the elite vice admiral. Lynn thought to herself, but she didn't know that Hiwashishin's shock became more and more serious. Damn! Not only armament hockey, but also Marine 6 styles. He's way better than me too. How is it possible? Marine 6 styles, that is the untold secret of our Marine, the ultimate essence of physical arts. Although some moves have been spread for some reason, but those who can master all 6 styles and cultivate to the deepest level are only our Marines. But this Lynn not only has mastered all of them, but also practiced so deeply that even I would be willing to bow down. Damn, how do I feel like I'm playing against a young Vice Admiral Garp? Hiwashishin was shocked, and at the same time, a ridiculous illusion was born. Lynn is the very young version of Vice Admiral Garp. At this age, Vice Admiral Garp doesn't seem to be much better than this Lynn. Damn, why wasn't such a physical genius born from within our Marine? For a moment, Hiwashishin almost roared angrily. If Marine can produce another Garp, then this chaotic era of great pirates may come to an end. Your Excellency Vice Admiral, you are distracted. Lynn seized a gap, put his waist and horse together, and punched out with both fists together, hitting a thunderous blow. 6 styles, 6 king gun, boom! Although Hiwashishin was blocked by the electric light and flint, he was also hit by the extremely fierce impact, and his throat became sweet, and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Boom! He who was blown away crashed into a huge rock tens of meters away, and with the remaining force, he literally shattered the huge rock into pieces. Hateful! Hiwashishin showed blue veins on his forehead. It was the first time he faced a pirate with a bounty below 100 million, and he was so embarrassed. From the beginning of the fight, he was suppressed everywhere, and he didn't even have a chance to gain the upper hand in a single round. What's even more exasperating is that Lynn didn't pursue at this time, but shook his head and sighed slightly over there. Combined with his words at the beginning, it is obvious that he dislikes himself as weak as Smoker. Hey! Hiwashishin took a deep breath, but calmed down. The samurai sword in his hand also began to hum inexplicably in response to his state of mind, and seemed to be jumping for joy. Its blade is gradually turning into a looming crimson red, and there is an astonishingly hot aura overflowing. This samurai sword is also a famous sword. Although the reputation is not as good as those big, fast swords, the quality will not be much worse. Especially after more than 20 years of tempering in Hiwashishin armament hockey. Not only can it compete with Dekwai Dao, but also cultivate a wonderful spirituality. Old man, let's go. Hiwashishin shook the samurai sword in his hand and let out a breath of foul air. His eyes were nothing but sharp and indomitable. At this moment, his energy reached its peak. Similarly, there is also a tacit understanding of the unity of human and knife. He's going to hit the pinnacle and knock Lynn out of the way. 1,000 fires burn the mountain, he shouted angrily, and then rushed to swing the knife. In an instant, a knife turns into 10, 10 into 100, and 100 into 1,000. In an instant, the scarlet samurai sword was cut out by him thousands of times. For a moment, the saber's aura was heavy, and the red flames billowed like 1,000 waves of fire. Even if there was a big mountain in front of it, it could easily be melted away. However, in front of this ferocious move, Lynn's response was very simple. He quickly launched the flying finger snatch with both hands, hitting the air with his fingers, forming a crescent-shaped slash. Flying finger grab, the ultimate extension technique of the 6-style middle finger grab, was once used by the dark giant Stussy to kill the Usury King in a flash in the original book. At this time, Lynn moved his fingers like flying, and even used multiple fingers on one hand, instantly launching a frenzy of attacks formed by countless crescent slashes. Bang, 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 bang. There are thousands of fire waves on one side and crescent moon frenzy on the other. When the two collided and shook each other, there was a crisp sound of swords and swords cutting each other. Countless energies spread out, like sharp arrows, causing the surrounding rocks and trees dozens of meters away to be reduced to powder at this moment, and then burned to ashes by the high-temperature fire. Buzz! With the sound of the knife, the fire wave returned to 1, and the Hiwashishin knife locked Lynn and fell. But after breaking the crescent craze and rushing in front of Lynn, his aura was no longer at its peak, but fell back sharply. This knife, on the contrary, is like the end of a crossbow. Hey! Lynn fired another Six-King spear and hit Hiwashishin's samurai sword. Boom! The two separated again. However, Hiwashishin's face continued to be gloomy and cloudy, and he did not launch a second round of attacks. He never expected that his peak blow just now was deflected by the flying finger snatch. Simply unheard of, unseen. There is no one in a million who can practice flying fingers, even in Marine, and there are even fewer people who can use flying fingers with both hands. And he can use at least 2 fingers with one hand to launch the flying finger grab at the same time. What a monster! At this moment, Hiwashishin accepted the fact that he was about to lose. If the peak blow is blocked by the opponent without losing a single bit, then the only outcome is defeat. But at this time, Gala! Whoa! The samurai's sword in his hand suddenly vibrated inexplicably, as if it had been hit hard, and made a thin, screaming sound. The blade vibrated so violently that he almost couldn't hold the good knife that had been with him for 20 years. This is the internal destruction of armed color? Who is Hiwashishin, who immediately discovered the clues and was shocked again? How old is this, in addition to the Marine 6 styles to the peak, but also armament hockey to this advanced level, counting millions of people in Marine who can cultivate to armament hockey that destroys from the inside? In my own impression, it seems that there are not many. Anyway, that level is beyond his reach for the time being. Perhaps he is better than Garp at the same age? Thinking of this, he felt mixed emotions for a while. If the other party is allowed to thrive, then Marine's future. P.S. Ask for votes if there are votes, there will be updates. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 0:25. Naval Headquarters shocked. Fifth more. At this time, Hiwashishin still remembered when he received the order and learned about Smoker at the same time. At that time, he was still a little happy, thinking that it would be good for a rebellious junior like Smoker to get enough lessons. Unexpectedly, this kind of ending will soon be his turn. It's ironic to think of it. I bear the name of Justice. Hiwashishin wiped away the blood that had just flowed from the corner of his mouth, and his eyes turned scarlet. Even if he died here, he wouldn't let Lynn leave easily. Marines, when facing pirates, you should not be intimidated, nor should you be afraid of sacrifice. The samurai's sword in his hand echoed his thoughts, and the buzzing became more and more intense. Old man, I may have to say goodbye here today. Hiwashishin sighed. The samurai sword, which is already at the level of a large fast sword, coupled with his armament hockey blessing, even the supreme large fast sword is not easy to cut. But Lynn has mastered the inner sabotage secrets of advanced armament hockey. And armament hockey's cultivation base is far above him. So the fate of this knife is hard to say. If you want to blame, you can only blame him for being weak. Justice executed. Hiwashishin rushed up again, and his momentum rose again. Lynn was a little speechless. Hey, uncle, don't make me look like a big villain who is angry and complaining. After half a sound, Lynn returned. He severely injured Hiwashishin, but did not kill him. There are 2 reasons. 1. Hiwashishin is a rare, gentle, and kind person in Marine Vice Admiral. This time Lynn is considered a high hand, but if there is a next time, Lynn will never be soft. 2. The most important thing is to kill an elite Vice Admiral. Although the bounty can be greatly increased, it is not in Lynn's current plan. After all, this may attract Admiral's pursuit. Facing Admiral, Lynn thinks she can't beat her, but she is sure to escape. It's just that Ma Yin and Erina are in trouble. Therefore, Lynn will not fight Marine until he is absolutely strong and comparable to Admiral. This consideration also gave him a clear sense of urgency to improve the strength of himself and other crew members. At this time, Xiaori in this side also took care of it, and all the Marines were beaten to the ground by her tornado and air pressure. Although Lynn was fighting Hiwashishin in the distance, he always cared about this side. This is also an opportunity for him to let go and give Xiaori and Lillian a chance. Of course, as long as there is any situation, Xiaorai will be back within a few seconds as soon as he sends a sound transmission notification. Xiaori, and you are so amazing. Lynn didn't hesitate to praise, rubbed his head until Xiaorai closed his eyes comfortably and almost hummed softly. Umph. I didn't make a move. This boat is not enough for my pumpkin cannon. Seeing that the overall situation was settled, Ma Yin stepped out to claim credit. But she was telling the truth. From the beginning of the fight, she was holding the romantic fortress pumpkin cannon and was on guard in the dark. As long as Marines came up, she would shoot and knock down several Marines. She cooperated very well with Xiaorai. Okay, you have a share too. Lynn thought that her request for credit was the same as Xiaorai, and it was also a reward for touching the head, but she didn't know that before reaching out. Ma Yin blushed and jumped away. Smelly Lynn, I'm not Xiao Haiori. I don't want to do that. Lynn, can we go now? But Nakiri Erina said, tremblingly while leaning on the door. Just now, from the window of the cabin, she saw a Tyrannosaurus Rex about 10 meters high in the distance, with a mouth full of drooling, as if it was looking for food. What is this little garden? It's terrible. Although Lynn and the others were extremely vigilant when they left to prevent the island eater from appearing, they were fortunately safe all the way. When we left, we could also see two giants, 1 and 2, but Lynn didn't have much interest in getting to know each other, so he didn't stop there. However, even though he didn't stay in Little Garden for a long time, something unexpected happened to Lynn, and he blamed himself for a while. To the west of Whiskey Peak, there is a small building hidden in the valley, the world's largest media, the branch of World Economic News here. On the highest floor of the small building, Siebel was in high spirits, and even flatteringly used the phone bug to talk to someone. Mr. Lynn, thank you very much. Don't worry, I will fight for the headline of the main issue of this newspaper tomorrow. Even if the headline application fails, I promise you that at least it will be the guide position. But according to my opinion, this time the news is in the headline, there is a lot of hope for the position. If it cannot be arranged, the slightly lesser position of the headline is also possible. Okay, then don't bother, Mr. Lynn, you rest. Goodbye, I look forward to your next call, and I love you. When Bayer put down the microphone, she realized that the editor-in-chief and others were all staring at her dumbfounded. Siebel blushed and couldn't help but spit at Lynn secretly. After all, the image she has been here all along is cold and capable, calm and prudent, and she looks 100% like a strong woman. Unexpectedly, Lynn's phone call broke the news today, which completely changed her appearance. Not only her voice is delicate, but also her words are soft. She has completely become a terrible little fairy. Gentlemen, it's time for a big job. Get moving immediately. Whether our bonus this month can be doubled depends on this news. Fortunately, after the embarrassment, Bayer immediately switched states and slapped the desk hard with both hands, frantically beating chicken blood, which cheered up the spirits of the entire editorial department. Naval Headquarters, Office of the Marshal. Marshal Sengoku was flipping through the files. Squeak! I said, Sengoku, you have meetings all day long. We old guys can't stand it. If you do this again, I'll go out for a walk again. Garp pushed the door open, took out a pack of senbei from the drawer next to Sengoku, and started eating. Eating can't stop your mouth. Sengoku said nothing, didn't even bother to look at him. This old comrade in arms, the temper of the old brother, he has long been used to it. Of course, this is also Garp's privilege in this marshal's office, and no one else can enjoy it. Sengoku, is it something important? Zephyr, the former admiral and the current Marine chief instructor also came. It should be a big deal. I even called me, who just came back from a business trip. A tall, thin man with sunglasses, a ring of stubble, and a yellow and white striped suit also appeared. Admiral Aokiji followed behind. Most of the core figures of naval headquarters are here today. Admiral Akainu is missing. Okay, Sakazuki won't come back for a while. That's all there. Let's all sit down for a meeting. I do have something very important to discuss with you today. Before that, let me tell you some bad news. Seeing that everyone was present, Sengoku put down the documents, sat up straight, and said in a deep voice, P.S. The 5th update continue to ask for votes. If there are votes, the author will continue to update. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 026. Upgrade to level 3 captain. New features are enabled. Bad news? Could it be that the G5 branch of New World has been pulled out again? Kizaru guessed directly, and then laid Guyu comfortably on the sofa beside him. As soon as New World's G5 branch was mentioned, all the Marine executives present fell silent. Although Marine is the veritable overlord of the sea and the most powerful existence, but this status is a bit far from the treatment in New World. Not to mention anything else, this is the only Marine branch set up in New World. He was either attacked by this pirate force all day long, or uprooted by the 4 emperors. But now, it has to rely on the help of Heavenly Yiksha, Doflamingo, to barely stand firm. The reason why Marine made Doflamingo the 7 warlords of the sea, in addition to considering Doflamingo's influence, this reason is also very important. Immediately, many Marine executives squinted at Kizaru, and they all thought to themselves, "This unlucky and sad existence. Why do you mention it?" Soon, Sengoku broke the awkward atmosphere. It's not the G5 branch, but Hiwashishin Vice Admiral. He went to intercept Lynn, but failed. As soon as Sengoku's voice fell, someone couldn't help but lost his voice. What? Hiwashishin Vice Admiral's strength is unmatched among Vice Admirals. Hiwashishin Vice Admiral swordsmanship is definitely ranked among the top 15 in this department. Even he failed. Such a thing has not happened for several years. So Marshal Sengoku, Hiwashishin Vice Admiral, is still alive? A good man who is so gentle and caring for his subordinates cannot die in the hands of pirates. Sengoku's words immediately ignited the emotions of everyone present. Hiwashishin Vice Admiral is a well-known good old man in Marine, widely loved by his subordinates, and has a good reputation in naval headquarters. If he is killed, the headquarters will definitely send Admiral to go to naught. After learning that Hiwashishin Vice Admiral was still alive, everyone relaxed a little and then started discussing again. This Lynn is too strong. Yeah, I thought that when I defeated Smoker with Smoke Fruit, I thought he was just a fluke. Who would have thought that even the veteran Vice Admiral could be defeated now? What fruit ability is he? If there are, most of them belong to Logia. Otherwise, how could they be so strong at such a young age? Sengoku shook his hands to let them be quiet, and then uttered an extremely explosive message. This Lynn, there is no sign of him displaying his fruit ability for the time being, but he is Grandmaster Marine 6 Styles and Armament Hockey. According to Hiwashishin Vice Admiral, his attainments in 6 Styles and Armament Hockey are no less than Vice Admiral Garp even at the same age. It may even be slightly better, because this Lynn has already mastered the flying finger gun that uses multiple fingers and the advanced hockey that can destroy from the inside. As soon as Sengoku finished speaking, everyone froze. Some people could even be heard gasping for air in the dark. What kind of concept is this? In the pirate camp, there is a Garp-level super physical genius who is about to be born. Of course, many peerless geniuses are born among the pirates every year, but most of them are buried in the first half of the Grand Line, and they don't even have a chance to go to the New World. There are so many geniuses, but not many can fully grow up. Therefore, if this Lynn wants to grow into an existence like Roger Garp, the chance is extremely low. What is the background of this Lynn? Does it have something to do with some retired generals of our Marine? Aokiji Admiral expressed his doubts. Marine 6 Styles, not everyone can learn it all. Moreover, at such a young age, he can reach the level of Garp's age. It is impossible to say that there is no expert Marine behind him. Others echoed Aokiji's question. Our relevant departments have checked his origin, but there is nothing to gain. We only know that he first appeared in East Blue Kokoyashi Village. Sengoku shook his head with a wry smile. When he got the information feedback from Hiwashishin, he never thought that Lynn might be the descendant of the retired Marine powerhouse. However, after some investigation by the relevant departments, it was concluded that the chance of Lynn being the descendant of the strong Marine is not even 1%. If he takes the Little Garden route, the next island is Alabasta. I'll breathe with the sand crocodile. Also, Lynn's bounty has been increased from 80 million to 200 million. Soon, Sengoku made a decision. Originally, he wanted to send Admiral's alternate or Admiral to go there, but there was another major New World event imminent, and he could still tell which of the two was more important. Damn Kaido. In private, he cursed the culprit. However, Everyone here thought that Huashishin was defeated on the uninhabited prehistoric island, and no one other than Marine would know. However, it was never expected that this matter would be on the second headline of the World Economic News the next day, bringing a wave of shock to naval headquarters. The instigator, Lynn, was in her room, feeling elated, because he found that his reward amount had finally increased, and it's still skyrocketing. It went directly from 80 million to 200 million. I have to say, the elite vice admiral is worth the money. After the defeat, Marine actually added 120 million to the amount. So Lynn decided, next time I want to do it, I will be Admiral's alternate. Of course, Lynn doesn't mind setting her sights on Admiral if the next reward is good. No need to think about being safe and cautious. After all, upgrading is king. The higher the level of the captain, the richer the rewards, and the stronger the friends. This is a virtuous circle. Ding! Congratulations. Host bounty has increased to 200 million, meeting the captain's level upgrade standard. Ding! You have become a level 3 captain, and you have received rewards. 5,000 points, 2 treasure chests, X2 quota for recruiting crew members, and the portable space has been expanded from 1 cubic meter to 10 cubic meters. New functions of the system are being activated. The system's prompt sound is in Lin's mind, which makes him feel as pleasant as Shinla. The new function of the dream is finally opened. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 027. Purple chest reward, op fruit. Some posts in the book review area are swallowed by the system. I hope everyone knows that the author's reply is gone. If the author wants to delete it, he will not refine and reply. And now the sensitive words are too powerful. If you catch it, it will be useless. Differential killing. My chapters are often locked. I won't talk nonsense in the future. I will continue to update more than 10,000 times a day until it is put on the shelves, and continue to ask for votes for support. What will the new functionality be? Before that, Lynn also tried hard to guess. 1. The system issues side missions to give myself, the host, the opportunity to earn points. After all, just one main task is too boring too. Or the system issues tasks for the crew to earn points, such as asking the crew to wear bunny girl costumes and maid outfits to please the captain. Of course, it is not unacceptable for the crew to fall in love with the captain. 3. Unlock the restrictions and open the recruitment of male crew members, giving him the opportunity to recruit top combat forces like Aizen and Uchiha Madara Ding. The new function of the system has been activated, primary gift. However, the next answer completely made his previous guess come to nothing. Junior gift, the unique function of the captain. According to this function, the captain can give some abilities to the crew members on the same ship. As soon as she saw this function description, Lynn was a little upset. No matter how you look at it, this is a useless function of exploiting the captain and cheap crew. You are a broken system that eats inside and out. This is completely different from the capitalist thinking that Lynn upholds. However, after he understood the function in detail, he found it acceptable. It turns out that this primary gift function is not to deprive and weaken the captain. It's more like copying the captain's skills to the crew. Of course, due to primary reasons, it is limited to primary copying of skills. For example, Lynn can copy the Marine 6 styles and armament hockey and gift the crew, and the crew will get the Junior Marine 6 styles and armament hockey. And Lynn's own 6 styles and armament hockey's level will not be affected in the slightest. Of course, if you want to use this function, you need to consume a lot of points. But make no mistake, this is a great feature that clearly enhances your crew. Forget about this. Let's see what's inside the 2 treasure chests this time. Lynn turned her attention to the treasure chest. In the first 2 treasure chests, one opened the full-level Marine 6 styles, and the other opened the full-level armament hockey. This time the lottery will not be worse than the other 2, right? Right now, he is extremely eager to increase his strength. Without Admiral-level strength for a day, there is no absolute confidence in this sea. However, before opening the treasure chest, he found that the treasure chest this time seemed to be different from the previous 2. The 2 previous ones were all golden treasure chests, but this time, apart from one golden one, the other one was purple. System, help me open the purple treasure chest. As soon as his curiosity came out, he gave priority to opening this purple treasure chest that he had never seen before. Okay, host, please wait a moment. The purple treasure chest is being opened. Congratulations, Master Host. You have obtained the ability of Devil Fruit Op Fruit. Following the system's prompt, Lynn saw a red heart-shaped fruit covered in spiral patterns lying in the open purple treasure chest. Although Lynn was hopeful, she really didn't expect such a surprise. Op Fruit, in the original book, is a very powerful fruit with various magical abilities. The world government once offered a reward of 5 billion, and if the ability is awakened, it can even perform the immortal surgery. This ultimate fruit, I didn't expect to open it for myself like this. But Lynn was pleasantly surprised. Before he got this ability, he still had some things to ask. System, if I eat this devil fruit, will I also be afraid of sea water? Also, if the ageless surgery is performed in the future, will I die too? Finally, I got the Op Fruit ability, so does Trafalgar Law still have Op Fruit? The first 2 points are very important, which is related to whether Lynn wants this Op Fruit ability. Although the Op Fruit is very strong, it doesn't mean that the systematic Lynn will salivate extra. Lynn is not willing to gain another disadvantage of being afraid of sea water for this ability. With the system in hand, Lynn must be flawless in all aspects of her own future development and finally stand at the pinnacle of this world. Return to Master Host. The reward this time is the Op Fruit ability, not the Op Fruit from this world. So there will be no shortcoming of being afraid of seawater. The shape of the devil fruit you saw is just to show the source of this ability. If Master Host doesn't like it, you can switch it into a ball of light. Even a cup of tea and ice cream is fine. Because of the ultimate skill of the surgery of immortality, the huge amount of life force of the caster will be used as the cost of the spell, coupled with the restrictions of the devil fruit law in this world. So the original fruit-capable person will die after casting it. However, this ability is a copy version, so there is no restriction of the devil fruit law in this world. As long as Master Host cultivates his physique to a high level in the future, he can avoid the danger of death after the operation. But Master Host will also lose a huge amount of vitality and a lot of lifespan, and it will be difficult to recover in a short time. So Master Host, please use this skill carefully. This reward will not affect the same ability holders in this world. After listening to the system's explanation, Lynn breathed a sigh of relief. There are no side effects, and even the risk of death from the ageless surgery is gone, so why would he refuse to obtain this ability? With a thought in his mind, the treasure chest in the portable space disappeared, and the Op Fruit turned into a mass of red light, quickly merging with his body and mind. In just a split second, he mastered the Op Fruit ability. Except for the ageless surgery, Op Fruit's other skills can be used like a finger, and there is nothing obscure. Lynn can even feel her physical fitness, which has been enhanced a lot because of this ability. This feeling is so cool. With such a novel ability, Lynn couldn't hold back anymore, and immediately imitated a certain doctor in his impression, stretching out one hand and opening it downwards, and activated the Op Fruit ability. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 028. Powerful Op Fruit ability. Hey! Following Lynn's low hum, a small transparent typhoon vortex immediately appeared under his open palm. The small typhoon Uzumaki expanded rapidly after a few rotations, and instantly expanded into a round clear ball covering the entire ship. The area covered by the clear light ball is his surgery space. As soon as his thoughts turned, he appeared at a corner above the clear light sphere, a few meters from the top of the ship's mast. But before he found his little son and said hello, he suddenly disappeared again. Brother Lynn. Xiao Rai could only pout and swallowed his words. The next moment, Lynn appeared 10 meters below the bottom of the boat. It is also the lower position of the operating space. In the space of his own ability, the water couldn't even wet his clothes in the slightest. Immediately, he saw a big fish following the bottom of his boat. Seeing his sudden flash, the big fish turned around and ran away in fright. With a thought, Lynn stretched out her right hand. Shwa! There seemed to be a flash of light, and the big fish that was several meters long and had already jumped 10 meters away disappeared immediately. In the next 0.000x seconds, this big fish appeared above Lynn's right hand, struggling endlessly. Awesome! After experimenting with the capabilities of Op Fruit, Lynn couldn't help but be amazed. In the operating space, he can teleport with his mind, and he can also teleport anything in the space. The bonus of this ability to combat power is terrifying just thinking about it. Of course, this kind of one-thought capture is limited to dealing with existences that don't have armament haki, or that armament haki is not strong. After all, Luo in the original book also tried it, but because Big Mom and Kaido's armament haki were too strong, he couldn't move the opponent's position at all. Hey! The next second, he suddenly appeared in the kitchen, dropped the big fish that had been cut into pieces, and then disappeared. Nakiri Erina, who was taken aback, almost threw a few throwing knives over to teach this BD who had made her restless recently a lesson. After returning to the room, Lynn took over the operating space. The rewards of the purple treasure chest are so amazing. He looked at the golden treasure chest in the portable space and sighed. It would be great if it was purple too. System, help me open the second treasure chest. Okay, host, please wait a moment. Ding! The treasure chest has been opened. Congratulations, Master Host. You have obtained 5,000 strength. Compared with the surprise of the first treasure chest, this one is a bit dull. Although 5,000 powers is also a good reward, Lynn prefers to get the full-level observation haki, or Conqueror's haki. Before that, his power value was more than 4,000, plus the gain brought by Op Fruit, it was 5,000. Now add another 5,000. That's 10,000 power. Lynn can roughly estimate what 10,000 power means. At least it is at the level of Admiral's alternate level. Of course, this estimation does not superimpose the fruit ability and other abilities. It's not bad, the doubling of power. At least let me use the Op Fruit ability without too many constraints. Lynn sensed the surging power brought by the 5,000 powers and the continuous change of her own physique, and felt that it was not bad. Judging from the enormous amount of physical strength consumed in the operation of the space, just now, 5,000 Dao strength cannot support the expansion of the space for a longer period of time. But with 10,000 strength, it will be much easier. In the experience of fruit ability, it can be said to be a qualitative change. So, at this moment, Lynn feels the love of the system. So considerate. System, open the properties panel for me. Lynn thought for a moment. It was the first time for him to check his attributes carefully. After all, there are more and more abilities now. Yes! With a soft wow, a set of data appeared in Lynn's mind. Name, Lynn. Skills, Marine 6 styles full level. Armament Haki full level. Ability, Op Fruit full level. Tally 10036. Points, 5,600. Captain level. Level 3, Comprehensive Strength. A+. Crew, Fomin Hiyori Navigator. Ma Yin Sniper. Nakiri Erina Cook. System function, God level recruitment. Primary gift. My overall strength is only A+. Then Admiral and 4 Emperors should be S-level existences. Lynn made an estimate, came to a conclusion, and casually clicked on the crew to see what their attributes were. The system's evaluation of Fomin Rai's overall strength is pretty good, and he actually has a B+ level strength. B+ level, almost the level of Marine Rear Admiral. And Ma Yin is a little bit worse, only B-. This is also thanks to the Taiga bonus of Romantic Fortress and Pumpkin Cannon, because this Taigu will go berserk along with the Taigu Envoy's own danger. The more dangerous the owner is, the more terrifying its bursting power will be. If it is counted as real individual strength, Ma Yin might not even be rated as a C rank in the system, and her physique seems to be better than that of Nakiri Erina. As for Nakiri Erina, she was rated as an ordinary person level E, which was the same level as her. Hey, a big guy leads a group of cute newcomers to the Grand Line. The captain, have a long way to go. It's not easy. Lynn couldn't help but touch his forehead. Of course, this is the past tense. Before Xiao, Rai was reluctant to spend big money to recruit new crew members. But now, after upgrading to level 3 captain, the system rewards a huge 5,000 points, plus the 600 points that have not been used before. During the period, another 100 points were used on Xiao Rai, so his current score is 5,600. After the upgrade, the system has given 2 recruitment quotas. Next, it's time for me to recruit 2 strong crew members. It's impossible for me to be the captain to support the scene. Just when he was about to recruit 10,000 realms, Ma Yin, who seemed to be wearing only a small vest, rushed into his room in a hurry. Oh no, she just kicked the door in. Main, what is this? Lynn was a little surprised. Looking at Ma Yin's outfit, it's obvious that she came here in a hurry, and it shouldn't be seeking revenge. It has to be said that Ma Yin still has a bit of capital. It is only in the comparison of the other 2 irregularities that it seems thin. Erina, she passed out while cooking, Ma Yin said quickly, with an anxious expression on her face. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time. April 29th to May 3rd. 029. Recruit ship doctors. Top 5 candidates. Asking for a ticket. Did you pass out while cooking? Upon hearing this sentence, Lynn felt self-blame in her heart. Could it be that he frightened her because of his sudden appearance just now? Lynn didn't dare to be negligent and rushed out immediately. Usually he is most worried about Erina. After all, she is just an ordinary person. Although Erina's body is also very healthy, but the environment in the Grand Line is too harsh. Not to mention magnetic disturbances. The weather can rotate in 4 seasons in one day, and there are chaotic factors such as big storms and sea beasts. How can ordinary people bear such torture? Not to mention ordinary people. Even some pirates with a bounty of over 100 million may die of illness during the voyage. Nakiri Erina has been placed in the room by Kohikazu. When Lynn arrived, she could see that her face was flushed, her eyes were closed tightly, and there was even a trace of smoke emerging from the wet wipes on her forehead. Her breathing was a little short, causing the quilt on her body to fluctuate greatly. Brother Lynn, sister Erina, her temperature is 40 degrees. Seeing Lynn coming over and serving at the bedside, Xiao Rai, who was anxious, finally found the backbone and hurriedly told the relevant situation. Well, I see. Lynn immediately thought of something and couldn't help cursing herself secretly. Hell, he actually forgot that scene in the original book. In the original book, Straw Hat Crew left Little Garden, and during the follow-up voyage, Nami also became ill. Then Straw Hat Crew chose not to go to Alabasta first because they wanted to find a doctor for Nami, but instead went to Drum Island. Now Nakiri Erina's illness is exactly the same as Nami's at the beginning, and she was obviously bitten by an ancient bug in Little Garden. This disease is also called Casquia's fever. Therefore, if Erina wants to save her life, she has to go to Drum Country to find Dr. Gulliva, where she has related antibiotics that can cure the disease. Then, a new problem also came. Casquia fever is also called 5-day sickness, which means that from the onset of the disease, the patient can only survive for 5 days at most, and basically there is no cure for more than 5 days. So make sure to find Magnetic Drum Island within 3 or 4 days. Lynn can't guarantee that she can have the halo of the original pig's feet. In his op fruit ability, corresponding to surgery, Luo's nickname is Death Surgeon, can't treat this kind of disease that belongs to internal medicine. I'll think of a way. Take care of her first. Lynn returns to her room. He wants to use the recruitment quota to recruit a ship doctor from the 10,000 realms. A genius doctor who can cure Nakiri Erina's disease. Therefore, even if it consumes all his points, that's fine. As a captain, he will never let a member of his crew die during the journey. Master host, please wait a moment. Immediately start the God-level recruitment function. The connection is being completed, and the target selection. Master host, your request is a ship doctor with extremely powerful medical skills, and there is no limit to the point fee. 3 minutes later, the system listed the relevant list. 1. Duanmu Rong, 210 points or 2. Wendy, 3,900 points. 3. With Akiko Yasano, 700 points. 4. Uno Anaretsu, 7,700 points. 5. Tsunade, 5,000 taels. Huh? Even Duanmu Rong, who was known as the immortal doctor of Jinghu in Qin Dynasty, could recruit, but it's a pity, compared with the candidate girls, Sister Rong's force value is a little bit worse in this world. If I just crossed over to this world, and maybe consider Yoshino Akiko a member of the armed detective agency in Bungo Stray Dogs world, possesses the ability of Please Don't Die, which has extraordinary healing power and can heal all dying people. But the ability is only useful to dying people, so there is when it comes to treatment. The patient needs to be brought to the brink of death before proceeding. And Yusano Akiko also has a bad habit of dissecting and often takes advantage of the treatment opportunity to dismember the patient. Let's cross this out too. It's too cruel gone. Lynn eliminated Dwanmu Rongha and Shia Akiko in an instant, and then her eyes fell on the remaining three. Without a doubt, Lynn's favorite choice is Uno Hanaretsu from the Shinigami world. Next is Wendy from Fairy Tail. Uno Hanaretsu, one of the few strongmen in the Shinigami world, the owner of the title of the first Kenpachi, the strongest swordsman, the founder of the 11th team and the concept of the 11th team, but her medical technology is also the top of the Shinigami world. With such a crew, even if Admiral visits in person one day, Lynn doesn't have to worry about it. Wendy, the Sky Dragon Slayer in the world of Fairy Tail, is also the cutest little girl in the world of Fairy Tail. With all kinds of magic to heal and buff teammates, she is a veritable little nanny. To be honest, although the recruitment points required for these two start at a few thousand, and Uno Hanaretsu's 7,700 points are unattainable, Lynn still wants to choose among them. Because these two women are the best solution, especially Wendy, who is so cute. Besides powerful healing magic, she also has all-round auxiliary magic. Not only can it increase attack and defense acceleration and even increase all attributes, but it can also exempt and weaken various negative states. It is really all-round, a genuine best nurse. In that split second, Lynn really wanted to pick Wendy. To blame can only be blamed on the requirements of this woman, Tsunade, who is too maverick. She didn't want points, but 50 million Fire Nation currency. Could it be another idiot like Nakiri Erina? Lynn rubbed her chin, a little hard to decide. There is no doubt that both Tsunade and Wendy have powerful and unusual medical abilities, and it is very simple to cure Nakiri Erina. At the same time, the combat power of the two is not much different. After all, it was the advantage of saving points that made Lynn contact Tsunade directly. System, arrange for me to talk to Tsunade. Lynn made a decision. Since the other party does not need points, then Lynn can only meet. That is, the interview. Points are used to exchange mortal things with the system, which is almost omnipotent, and money is not a problem at all. Of course, the premise is that the applicant accepts the call, comes here, and the contract is completed before they can get points, and then exchange them through the system. Thinking of this, Lynn speculates that there is only one possibility. That is, Tsunade is now in debt, which has affected many friends, and she does not want to cross over immediately, causing the ninja world to disappear, and causing those friends to be embarrassed by the creditors. In the plot of Hokage, the unlucky Naruto was found and robbed by Tsunade's creditors and had a fight. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 0:30. Lynn's Sweet Dreams. In addition to the recruitment function, God-level recruitment also has sub-functions such as interviews. Similarly, the recruitment target also has the right to refuse. For example, Rem refused the recruitment before, and Lynn chose Nakiri Erina. Therefore, it is normal to have an interview function. Wow! After a soft click, Lynn appeared in a room. The room is small and simple, just a table and 2 chairs. Lynn was about to go up and sit down when there was a flash of light opposite, and then a very beautiful mature woman appeared. She has bright yellow hair, but it is braided into a big ponytail. She wears a tea green gown with black borders and a loose, sleeveless top, but she still can't hide the fierceness of the woman who looks down on the world. It is dark blue crop pants. She has picturesque features, a small blue-purple seal on her forehead, and a pair of bright brown eyes that catch people's mind while looking around. But the sadness hidden inside makes people feel distressed. Princess Tsunade of the Hokage world. Judging from the relevant information of the recruitment, this should be Tsunade in his 30s, who has experienced the loss of his lover and younger brother, and is turning into a bad gambler. As soon as Tsunade came in and saw Lynn, he asked loudly, "You are Lynn? It's amazing. What kind of space ninjutsu is this?" Lynn didn't respond to her question and asked her to sit down after saying hello. Then, the negotiation started. "You have 50 million taels? What do you want me to do?" As expected, Tsunade was as carefree and heroic as he had imagined, and he cut straight to the point. I don't have 50 million taels. I want you to be my ship's doctor and help me become the strongest existence in that world. Lynn Cade, if you don't have money, what else is there to talk about? Bye. Tsunade got up and was about to leave. Although I don't have 50 million taels, these gold jewels are enough for you to exchange for 50 million taels. Lynn flipped her hand, and a pile of gold appeared on the table, almost covering the table. Although the banknotes issued by the 5 major countries are used in the Hokage world, there is still a market for gold there. In the original book, 4th Kazekage used magnet style to collect placer gold to make funds, so that the village settled down. Huh? Gold! When seeing gold, Tsunade's eyes lit up and he almost rushed over. These can be gambled all night. She murmured a little out of composure. Lynn couldn't help but feel a little headache. If this guy comes to One Piece world, he might be a bad gambler and drunkard. Who cares anyway? The cost of this product is low, as long as it can be used. Yes, it can be used and durable. Anyway, Lynn doesn't have much, only gold and jewelry. And right now Tsunade doesn't even have a fifth of his inventory. It can save 1 or 2,000 points, so what is this little gold? 50 million taels, signed for 1 year. Tsunade sat down again and clasped both hands, trying to take all the gold and jewelry on the table into her arms, as if afraid of Lynn's remorse. No problem. First sign the agreement, and then the gold will be yours. With a thought in Lynn's mind, an agreement appeared on the gold. Tsunade was also straightforward and signed immediately. I'll give you an hour to deal with your private affairs. Lynn said. No, at least 3 hours. Tsunade objected. The batch of gold jewelry that Lynn gave can definitely be exchanged for more than 50 million taels of money, so she wants to gamble with the rest after paying off the debt. Up to an hour and a half. There is also a crew member on my side who is sick and very uncomfortable. Lynn frowned and didn't agree to her request. No, I'll take care of it in half an hour. However, once Tsunade heard that someone on Lynn's side was sick, she shortened the time considerably. Although he is a bad gambler and alcoholic, he also has the benevolence of a doctor. Lynn secretly gave her a thumbs up. Half an hour later, Tsunade was on time and reported to Lynn's boat via cross-boundary teleportation. After a brief introduction to Ma Yin and the others, Tsunade began to treat Nakiri Erina's illness. It's not a big problem. I can make her better in just 5 minutes. Tsunade took a few glances before coming to a conclusion. This made Ma Yin and Xiao Rai cheer in surprise, and there was no longer any sadness on their faces. Lynn naturally has no doubts about Tsunade's medical skills. After treatment, Nakiri Erina's fever subsided and she fell into a deep sleep. Not only did her body temperature return to normal, her breathing was even as usual. It seems the pain is over. Thank you so much, Miss Tsunade. Sister Tsunade, drink tea. Ma Yin and Xiao Rai circled around Tsunade. This also shows that their relationship with Erina is very good. With a sigh of relief, Lynn had time to toss about the second crew member she wanted to recruit. Because the position on the ship is a radish and a pit, as long as there is one, the system will restrict the recruitment of the second one, unless the current one resigns and leaves. He already has navigator, ship doctor, cook, and sniper. Then there are only 3 positions that can be recruited next: helmsman, combatant, and boatman. However, when he selected combatants to recruit, he was told by the system that the second recruitment spot for a level 3 captain required 30,000 reputation and a reward of 300 million. Lynn was a little confused about this. Isn't it the number of rewards? How come there are preconditions? This is to encourage yourself to upgrade as soon as possible. At the same time, the system also told him a piece of information. When he was promoted to the 4th rank of captain, the number of crew members would increase to 11, instead of being limited to 7. Forget it. Lynn touched her nose, feeling a little remorseful. Oh, Erina, the food you cook is too delicious. Then I'm welcome. It was the first time Tsunade ate the food cooked by Nakiri Erina and was immediately amazed. It seems that I have never eaten such delicious food in my life. It seems that this trip is not necessarily a hard job. At least the stomach will not suffer. Tsunade laughed. Watching their happy and warm scene, Lynn, as the captain, also felt warm at this time. As long as he was a normal man, he wouldn't feel bad if he was with so many stunning beauties every day. Staying together like this every day will make you fall in love with each other for a long time. But as the master of the boat, I have to be careful not to mess around. First of all, I have to determine what type of girl I like the most. Lynn thought so, but his dream was soon shattered shortly after the meal. My dear Captain, I heard that you pay Erina every month. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 031. Your captain is a big fat sheep, you know, a hammer. My dear Captain, I heard that you pay Erina every month. Humph. I don't have a salary either. Damn it, I heard from Erina that those who engage in such exploitative behavior are called capitalists, and they will be hanged by the people on the streetlights in the future. Not long after, Tsunade brought Ma Yin to find Lynn. Didn't you all read the signed agreement? When recruiting, your 50 million taels from Tsunade and 300 points from Ma Yin are all a year's salary. I didn't expect to be threatened to drop street lights in One Piece world, which made Lynn a little dumbfounded. No matter who it is, the period of recruitment is 1 year, but it can be renewed. Recruitment points are advance wages, and of course remuneration can also be negotiated. Erina is like this. And after the trip is over, the system will help them return to the time when they traveled to this world, and they can seamlessly take back their life in the original world. Therefore, Lynn feels that her recruitment is still very good. Of course, since they want to raise wages, Lynn has no objection. Anyway, Erina's wages are so low, adding 2 more will only add 10 points per month, so it doesn't matter. He now has 5,580 points in his hand. The interview with Tsunade costs 15 points a month, and he can issue at least 37 months. Yeah, the captain is still very easy to talk to. He is such a warm and sunny boy. I'm paid too. Long live the captain. Looking at the second daughter, who went out happily, Lynn shook her head. Alas, poor children, you are so easily satisfied. Don't you know that your captain is a fat sheep? How can we increase the bounty to 1 billion? Pirates at the billion level are basically senior cadres of the 4 emperors, Katakuri, and the 3 calamities. Lynn was quickly drawn back to the upgrade. The upgrade this time is very important. As long as he can become a 4th level captain, he can have the strength of the admiral level, so he has to pay attention. However, upgrading from level 3 to level 4 is far more difficult than before, requiring a billion bounty and 100,000 reputation. But now his bounty is only 200 million, and his reputation is only 16,000, which is far from it. After I do things according to the original plan, I will see the effect. If he is strong, he can become a 4th level captain without entering New World. Rainy Land, the most dreamy city in Alabasta, where the rainfall is far ahead of other cities, hence the name. In the Rainy Land, the most famous place is the largest and most gorgeous casino in the country, Rain Banquet. At this time, in a private room in a royal palace-like building under the Rain Banquet, a man with a back-cut hair, a horizontal scar in the center of his face, and a pair of dead fish eyes was putting down the phone, his face constantly clouded. 7 warlords of the sea crocodile. Just now, Naval Headquarters called him, although he responded unceremoniously, saying that he was only sent by the world government. Naval Headquarters didn't show any face, and insisted that it was his due responsibility. If he couldn't share it, this matter would be written in the report of the headquarters, and sent it to the 5 elders. Damn Naval Headquarters. When I find Pluton, I'll be the first to blow up your crap headquarters. Crocodile grinned. Lynn? After a while, he seemed to remember something, and then quickly got up to fetch the newspaper that had been thrown aside. Really? Shock. Huashishin Vice Admiral, the most powerful naval headquarters, lost to a pirate star with 3 moves. The executor of Buster Call, Huashishin Vice Admiral's glorious past pirate Nova. 1 or 2 things about Lynn's benevolence with just one glance. Crocodile's expression softened a bit. Today's world economic news is a bit interesting, it is very eye-catching, and it is very emotional. For a moment, Crocodile thought he had found the wrong newspaper. If this newspaper is read by the people in Marine, they will all grit their teeth and wish to kill this Lynn immediately. Crocodile thought for a moment, then picked up another phone bug. Lynn's ability to defeat the relatively well-known Vice Admiral in Naval Headquarters shows that his strength is very good. Naturally, Crocodile will not touch this bad luck. What's more, his conspiracy to seize this country is about to reach the most critical moment. How could he easily distract himself from other things and cause unnecessary changes? Therefore, he planned to let the people from the Baroque Work Agency do the show, have an explanation with Marine, and then leave it alone. The last step is the worst. After I seize the power of this country, I can fully explore Pluton. Whitebeard, you wait for me. I will come to New World to find you soon. After putting down the phone bug, Crocodile gritted his teeth and said coldly. However, he never expected that the following variables would make all his plans come to nothing. On the sea, a small boat was sailing. It was Lynn and his party. Wow, Lynn, what do you think that is? What a big cat. Sister Tsunade, come out and see the big cat. The deck soon became bustling with sea beasts appearing on the sea. Wow, Shaonana, can this thing be eaten? Tsunade, who heard the news, drooled when he saw the big cat. In the past few days on Lynn's boat, she has tasted many kinds of sea animal dishes made by Nakiri, all of which made her applaud. Therefore, seeing a new sea beast is her hunting time. Anyway, in her mind, as long as she can get new ingredients, she can get new delicacies. Taste wonderful flavors like never before. Princess Tsunade, wait, this is a sea cat, and it is also the mascot of Alabasta, a sacred existence. You can't hunt it down, or we will all be hunted down by the people of Alabasta. Look at the people on the passing ships. Is everyone bowing to it? Lynn quickly stopped her, who was eager to try. Hey, everyone really bows to it, mascot? A sacred existence? Can you pray to it and make a wish? Tsunade stopped and asked a little strangely. Lynn originally wanted to answer truthfully, but then she wanted to tease them. Yes, and it is very effective. That is, when praying and making a wish, you have to say it out loud so that Master Haimao can hear it, so that there will be a response. Ah, say it out loud? This. Tsunade hesitated. However, really? I'll come. I also want. Main and Nakiri Erina couldn't bear it anymore. Dear Sea Cat-sama, Shimi Main is praying to you. I hope you can help me grow up quickly and become what I want. Also, let celestial dragons roll down from the throne of the world as soon as possible. Ma Yin's wish was very real, which made Lynn and the others look solemn. Master Haimao has worked hard. This wish is really not easy to come true. Dear Umuma, Shimi Nakiri Erina is praying to you. I hope you can bless our captain. Ahem, everyone is safe and sound, and complete this trip without illness or disaster. Nakiri Erina, who has received death threats due to illness, her prayers are still routine. Dear Master Haimao, Shimin Fomin Rai prays to you. I hope you can bless Brother Lin to be safe and sound. I will grow up soon and I can become Brother Lin's bride in the future. Xiao Rai prayed with a blushing face, and even stammered at the end of the sentence. His ears were stained red with shame, and ran into the cabin in a panic after speaking. There was a sudden silence at the scene, and everyone's eyes fell on Lynn, with obvious contempt. Is this the result of you treating Xiaori and being a daughter? This is a misunderstanding. Listen to my explanation. Lynn didn't expect Xiao Rai to say such a thing, and she didn't know whether it was happiness or something else. This is in line with Xiao Rai's character design in the original work. Very active. Dare to confess if you like it. Even if the hero of the original book is very obscene. Wait, something seems wrong. No need to quibble. Ghost father. Bah! Scumbag! Nakiri Erina and Ma Yin quickly spurned and left with deep contempt. Sister Tsunade, you understand me. Seeing that Tsunade was still there, the messy Lynn said hastily. I don't really understand this, but it doesn't seem to be a big problem. Okay, Lynn, I'm going to make a wish. Can you go away? Tsunade waved his hand and motioned for Lynn to go into the cabin as well. She didn't want her prayers to be heard by Lynn. Lynn was speechless. This is really shooting yourself in the foot. Wait, you know a hammer. Xiao Rai is the helmsman. Now that she is gone, who will steer the ship? Dear Master Sea Cat, book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 032. How do you know? Dear Mumusama, she means Tsunade is praying to you. If Nawaki and Aduan are alive, please tell them, I'm fine now. Although Lynn was driven away, he could still easily hear Tsunade's prayer, and his heart was moved. Before Tsunade was in his 20s, his life was quite happy. But with the outbreak of World War II in the ninja world, not only lost his lover Kaido Dan, but also lost his younger brother Nawaki, and his life was very bitter. It was also because of the loss of two close relatives that after the war ended, she became a gambler and alcoholic wandering around, living in a daze all day, almost sinking completely. If it wasn't for Orochimaru looking for her later, and Naruto and others changed her, she might not be able to cheer up and become the new Hokage of Konoha Village, supporting the entire Konoha. Lynn's sympathy for a lifetime made him decide something. Tsunade's tragedy in the first half of his life cannot be prevented by himself, but in the future, he can always intervene. Lynn had a hard time correcting his thoughts and wanted to do something for the crew without expecting anything in return. However, just as he walked to Zyra's door and was about to knock on the door to enter, he heard Ma Yin's voice coming from inside. You shouldn't have made a wish like that just now. You said grow up quickly. You are old enough, and many 18 or 19-year-olds are not as good as you. You should concentrate your firepower like me. If you like the captain, you go up bravely. We will support you from behind. Ma Yin, you just scolded the Captain Ghostfather. Why are you encouraging Xiao Rai now? Tell me quickly, have you read some forbidden books that you shouldn't read? Nakiri Erina's voice also came out. Humph. Xiao Nana, look at what you said. You also read your Impure Girl comics all day long. You shut up. I don't know who often says when reading comics, this male pig's feet are not as handsome as Lynn. This young master is not as gentle as Lynn. Ah, Maine, you are so hateful. Forget it. Let this ship sink. Lynn turned and walked away. Not long. Although the atmosphere is still a bit delicate, Lynn still called everyone to a meeting. It was a surprise that Nakiri Erina fell ill, and it also reminded Lynn that some crew members are ordinary people. It's okay to get sick or something, but if there are any losses or even death in the battle in the future, that's not what Lynn wants to see. Therefore, he is determined to put on the table the matter of strengthening the strength of the crew and implement it as soon as possible. I want to practice too? Nakiri Erina was a little annoyed. If you cook 3 meals a day, you're already very tired. If you want to practice, then you don't even have time to read comics. That's right, we want freedom and time. I hate cultivation. Please, Master Captain, don't exploit our remaining time, so that we social animals can have time and space to breathe. Maine agrees. Lynn had expected them to react like this, but it was too easy to deal with them. Erina, you have the tongue of God and top-notch culinary skills. Don't you want to have the opportunity to go to that captive of gourmet world to experience it in the future? That is the highest temple of gourmet food. Compared with that place, the food in your world, it's so unbelievable. It's just that that world is very dangerous. If you go now, you will die. You really don't want to become stronger. Think. Nakiri Erina was moved and answered immediately. The highest dream of a culinary artist is to cook the best food, and God's tongue is naturally to taste the best food, and the dual highest dream of cooking and God's tongue easily crushed her resistance. Erina, you are so unprincipled. How could you be persuaded by him in just a few words? We have agreed that we are on the same front, and there is a strategy of rebuffing if you want to refuse, and then taking the opportunity to bargain. Ma Yin persuaded, shaking her arm. Lynn didn't respond to Nakiri Erina, then turned to Ma Yin and said, Ma Yin, you really don't want to become stronger? I want to, but I'm strong enough now. The chief sniper of the night attack, the romantic Shinigami Main-sama. Ma Yin crossed her arms and looked proud. Yeah, you are strong enough with a B dash? The strength at this level is in the grand line. Just like that B, you despise yourself. Lynn slandered, but still smiled. Are you strong enough? If I tell you that in the future, you will kill most people in night raids before the revolution can succeed. Even you will die on the eve of the success of the revolution. He will become a great hero of the revolution who will be respected after victory and live a quiet life. From the usual intentional or unintentional words, Lynn also deduced that the Ma Yin in front of her was basically the one in the anime. This Ma Yin's future destiny is death. Tragic result. Unlike the one in the comics, he and the hero Tasmi both survived in the end. Ah, how did you know about my dream? Lynn's words surprised Ma Yin. Because she is of mixed race, she was bullying looks down on her. So her greatest wish is to change that hopeless and broken world, and then become an admirable hero of the revolution. However, she never told anyone about this dream, so she just kept it in her heart. For a moment, she had the illusion of being seen through by Lynn. It's terrible. This man conquered Erina and himself with just a few words. But it really hit the nail on the head. At this moment, they felt that Lynn was more miraculous than that Mr. C cat. Tsunade didn't take it seriously at first, but when he saw Ma Yin and Nakiri Erina like this, he also looked at Lynn. She wanted to see what Lynn could know about herself. And you Tsunade, Nawaki and Kaido Dan are all dead, but you have to cheer up because in the future Konoha village needs you to stand up and bear the burden of Hokage, so as to prevent Konoha from being destroyed, and also to avoid some of your best friends killed. Like Jiraiya. Seeing Tsunade's hopeful gaze, Lynn didn't hide it either. What? You said Konoha village will be destroyed in the future, and Jiraiya will be killed. Do you know what you're talking about? When Tsunade heard this, he clapped up, his face full of shock and disbelief. What is Konoha village? That is recognized as the strongest ninja village in the genin world. There are many strong players in the ninja village, and geniuses come forth in large numbers. Will such a number one ninja village be destroyed? What a joke. Also, do you know who Jiraiya is? That's one of Konoha's genius sannin. Especially after the Second Ninja World War, Jiraiya's ninjutsu has become more and more sophisticated, and he has made great progress in the immortal technique and gradually shows signs of becoming the top powerhouse. Such a strong person will also be killed. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, April 29th to May 3rd, 033. Tsunade's secret. A match made in heaven. Tsunade panicked and didn't believe it, which Lynn expected. If you talk about Uchiha Madara and Tsutsuki Kagaya later, I am afraid that the irritable lady in front of you will directly overturn the table. Still, Tsunade believe it or not, that's her business. Anyway, Tsunade's physical skills and body are strong enough, and there are ninja art, mitotic regeneration, and Baihao technique with strong hands. Even if the body is interrupted, there is no problem. Lynn doesn't have to worry about her for the time being. After all, the target of this meeting is Ma Yin and Nakiri Erina, as long as they are both okay. But Lynn wouldn't let Tsunade's questioning affect his captaincy. In order to ensure that what I said is true, I will tell you a few little secrets about Tsunade and some secrets about Konoha. Lynn laughed. Okay, I want to hear what little secret I have. Tsunade was very curious. Number 1, you never wear underwear. Lynn wasn't too polite and started the game with a bang. Huh? What's so strange about this? Isn't this something everyone knows? Tsunade waved his hand, not paying attention. But, Sister Tsunade, we are with you every day, but we don't know it. Both Ma Yin and Nakiri Erina raised their hands to whitewash Lynn. Tsunade. Second, the necklace around your neck is your most cherished thing, and it is also a relic left by first Hokage Senju Hashirama. Both Nawaki and Kaido Dan have worn it. Lynn then revealed the second little secret, and Tsunade fell silent. This little secret has already defeated her defenses. The origin of this necklace, and who else has worn it besides herself, no one else knows. So, she had to start believing what Lynn said. However, she was curious, wanted to know what else Lynn knew, and wanted Lynn to continue talking. Lynn also fulfilled her wish and continued. Third, your favorite food in the past should be the highest grade 24K melted gold yokon from Gonsugan's family. Now it may be the food made by Erina. Well, I believe you. I've been away from Konoha village for many years, and the other party can still tell me about my favorite food, so what else can Tsunade say? I can only admit it. Okay, since Big Sister Tsunade is fine, Captain Ben announces that the Lynn pirates will become stronger and mobilized starting today. You don't need to look sad. It's actually very simple to become stronger. Only if you want to be stronger, you need to practice hard. Lynn then spoke out about her plan. Ah, can you still do this? It's amazing. However, Captain, This is too expensive. Give me a discount. Yes, Captain. We only have such a small salary. We can't afford it all, and we strongly recommend a salary increase. Tsunade and the others were pleasantly surprised at first, but after hearing the relevant price, they all protested. You don't have enough points, but I can give you a loan. But the price can't be changed because the gift will consume all the points. I can't make a loss-making business. Lynn expressed understanding, but insisted on unwavering price. Okay, just take a loan. Ma Yin will lend me some woo-woo-woo. I'm so poor. However, a junior armament hockey needs 500 points, and Marine 6 Styles needs 1,000 points. We only have 5 points a month. If we finish all of them, wouldn't we have to work here for more than 20 years? God, I feel like I'm on a thief ship. What? You want to stay on this broken ship for more than 20 years? How can you do that? A woman's youth is very short. If this is the case, I might as well marry you, Lynn, and the loan can be written off. Damn it, the stinky captain really has hidden schemes. Seeing that they seemed to have discovered their purpose, and they were a little turbulent, Lynn quickly promised that they would definitely raise their salary in the future, and then calm down. Even if your salary is doubled, you will still have to stay on this ship for 10 or 8 years. Are you so foolish? Seeing that they are so easy to appease, Lynn is a little speechless about their arithmetic level. Now that they have reached an agreement, Lynn began to use the system's primary gift function to strengthen their combat power. Lynn chose to copy the armament hockey and give it to them first, so that they could master the primary armament hockey first. Although armament hockey is bad on the Grand Line, it is not easy to use. After all, after mastering it, both offense and defense can be greatly increased. And there are also reasons why Marine 6 Styles has high physical requirements. But there is a problem here, that is, the physical fitness of Ma Yin and Nakiri Erina is really average. Even if they get the primary armament hockey, they can't release a single hockey. It seems that he still needs to practice diligently in the future. Those present, only Tsunade and Xiao Rai can grasp it. Especially Tsunade, with his strong physique, he can master it perfectly at the first time and can immediately exert a strong combat power. Even Lynn can see that Tsunade's armament hockey is about to break through to the mid-level change in the system crew attributes. I have to say that armament hockey is tailor-made for physical madmen like Tsunade. Thinking of this, Lynn even thought, what about adding Marine 6 Styles after Tsunade? Thinking about it, he was a little shocked. Could it be that he cultivated a physical monster? You said this kind of hockey, just covering it like this, can easily block even bullets? In addition, can it greatly increase the attack power? However, its unique way of operation does not conflict with my own strange power. 1 + 1 should be greater than 2. Tsunade looked at the armament hockey covered by his fist, sensitively sensing the changes inside, with joy on his face, wishing to find a sea beast to practice boxing right away. Kylie plus armament hockey, an obvious match made in heaven. Moreover, she has just mastered this. And when she concentrates on cultivation and succeeds in the future, the power can be further enhanced. Rapeseed, Alabasta's most prosperous port, is not even one of them. There are countless ships coming in and out here every day like crucian carp crossing the river. At the same time, it is also a well-known port of perfume. And the perfume produced here is well known throughout the Grand Line. I heard that some of Celestial Dragon's exclusive perfumes come from here. When Lynn and his group arrived, they only wanted to stop for a day, replenish supplies, and leave. Unexpectedly, I underestimated the attractiveness of shopping and perfume to women, so I couldn't leave, so I had to stay for one more day. Lynn didn't expect that. After just staying for one more day, something came to him. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 034. Lynn's plan, today is a good day. Everything you want can come true. While the ladies were out shopping, Lynn moved a beach chair, got a glass of iced drink, and basked in the sun on the deck happily. Basking in the warm sunshine, Lynn couldn't help feeling how good it was to lie flat. Alabasta is a country with a desert climate and lacks water, so Lynn doesn't have to worry about rain or anything, and can even sleep until Tsunade and the others come back. After an unknown amount of time, he was called out by Nakiri and mane. What's the matter? Why are you all so nervous and sweating profusely? Xiang was drenched in sweat. Her clothes were wet and translucent and stuck to her body, showing off her graceful curves. Although Lynn felt a bit blessed, what was even more strange to him was what made them so anxious. What? Tsunade lost 30 million berry at the biggest casino here and was seized. After they told the whole story, Lynn wanted to turn over and continue to sleep. Who in this country can do anything but the 7 warlords of the sea to get Tsunade? Maybe this rotten gambler is already on his way back. Besides, there is Xiao Rai with her, so nothing will happen. Erina and Ma Yin couldn't move the Buddha Lin, so they had to take a bath and change clothes first. They all muttered in secret. Do you dare to believe that your running all the way under the sun was in vain? What they didn't expect was that after a few minutes, Lin got up and left the boat. Lin suddenly changed his mind because he had a new idea. He wants to make a big fuss in this Alabasta if he can. For one thing, Tsunade can owe more favors to himself, and the construction period will be extended by a few years. After all, such a super nanny is too easy to use and cannot be let go easily. Second, you can kill a 7 warlords of the sea to see how much the bounty can increase. In the past 3 years, he suddenly thought of the collapse of the country. Perhaps Xiao Rai could help and gain a wave of prestige for himself. Alabasta is a superpower. If he really becomes the hero of this country. TSK, Lin gets a little excited just thinking about it. Based on these 3 points, Lin can't wait to fly to Tsunade's side and tear down that casino. It's best that the casino has something to do with sand crocodiles. At the same time, Lin is not without brains. He also knows that there may be traps in this trip. After all, he has a reward of 200 million on his back, and he is a bright presence in the first half of the Grand Line. It is normal for many cats and dogs to come up with ideas, but with the op fruit ability in hand and the full level 6 styles and armament hockey, Lin felt that even if he couldn't win the opponent, it was still safe to run for his life. Unless it's Kizuru, a Zeon with explosive speed. The casino that sees Tsunade is called the Golden Flower Casino, which is located in the Golden Cave behind Rapeseed Flower Harbor. The style of Golden Flower Casino is not as good as that of Crocodile's Rain Banquet, but the style is enough. The shape of a big golden flower covers an area of at least 100 acres. Lin reported his name to the guide and was taken in immediately. It didn't take long for him to meet Tsunade and Hiyori. Forehead, however, the moment Lin saw them, she immediately regretted it and wanted to turn around and leave. The situation of these 2 guys, what is called being detained, is clearly enjoying VIP treatment. They were arranged in a very luxurious and comfortable large room, and then the table was full of delicacies and various snacks and fruits. In addition, there are several waitresses on the sidelines at any time. Captain, you are finally here, Brother Lin. Tsunade is shameless, but Xiao Rai is a little nervous to see Lin. Mr. Lin, right? I'm Gus, the boss here. You only need to pay 30 million berries to bring them back, and these entertainment expenses are not included in it. At this time, the door behind Lin opened, and a middle-aged fat man with small eyes walked in. He reached out to shake hands and introduced himself as soon as he came in. He was amiable. Lin ignored his outstretched hand, but asked coldly, "What's your relationship with the boss of Yu Yin? Sand Crocodile? Sand Crocodile? Then what is your relationship with him?" However, when the Sand Crocodile was mentioned, Gus' face also turned cold, and he asked back. And the bodyguards behind him also became vigilant. "I'm asking you, why do you talk so much nonsense?" Lin beat them all down with just a few volleys. "Back to my lord. That Sand Crocodile is the villain's great enemy, and the villain's hometown was slaughtered by him 2 years ago." Gus knew that he had encountered a hard stubble, so he knelt down and kowtowed to beg for mercy. His answer made Lin a little speechless. "Not only are you not a subordinate of the Sand Crocodile, but you are also his enemy, so why did I take this opportunity to make a fuss here? And I am embarrassed to take the money here. Get up, Gus. I can help you avenge." Lin thought for a second. Called him up. Gus can operate a big casino in a big port like Rapeseed Flower, and the relationship behind it must be unusual. It just so happened that he could use this Gus to meet the unlucky and tragic King Cobra. Then next, he can carry out related opportunities. What do you want to do again? Seeing that he came to redeem someone, Tsunade not only didn't spend any money, but also accepted a younger brother. He was amazed and a little strange. She had a hunch that Lynn was going to stay here and do something big. However, she has never heard of Lynn's relationship with this sand crocodile. I want to be a hero. Be a hero of this country. Lynn Cade, didn't you say you wanted to be the Pirate King? Tsunade was a little speechless. Naval Headquarters, General Conference Room. Relevant regular meetings are ongoing. But everyone's mind is not on the content of the meeting. The news of Lynn defeating Huashishin, after various unprecedented and shocking reports, has already caused the entire naval headquarters to boil. Okay, that's all for today's meeting. Next, let's discuss one person. Marshal Sengoku waved his hand. Let the officials in charge of members go down, and let the projection phone bug project a piece of the latest world economic newspaper on the big screen. As soon as everyone looked at it, they changed from being quiet to whispering. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time, April 29th to May 3rd, 0:35. Naval headquarters and sand crocodiles are confused. The Marine executives looked at the projection screen. Although everyone knew what their marshal wanted to say, they were still full of curiosity. That BD Lynn is so good at it. I saw on the projection screen shock. Recently, the Alabasta Guard found a booklet of rebellion titled Utopia Operation Plan in a suspect's home. National hero Lynn brought the sun and the saint, and once again brought a heavy rain to Aluma, which has been dry for many years. After several heavy rains, Aluma has become the former oasis city again. Senior reporter Shi Bayer brings you a report. After everyone finished reading the headlines of the new issue of World Economic News, Sengoku then switched to all the reports about Lynn in the past half-month. Cobra. Lynn is a god sent from heaven. He brought precious rainwater and saved Alabasta. Nation-protecting hero Lynn strikes again, annihilating the Silver Wolf pirates who have been attacking Rapeseed Port all year round. Happy. In just a few days, Lynn took 2 shots and wiped out 2 pirate groups that were disturbing the port. One of the pirate leaders offered a huge reward of 30 million. Alabasta's rebel leader Kosha is willing to follow Lynn and work together to change the kingdom's environment. What is dancing powder that can make Alabasta desert? The mastermind behind it, Baroque Works, has surfaced. What do you think? Tell me, what exactly does this guy want to do? Sengoku then asked. So hard. Is he trying to be a national hero in Alabasta? It's not that simple, is it? Alabasta is a superpower, but it's not a rich country. What's the new star map of a pirate like him? Yes, with his strength, he can seize or establish a country anywhere in the world. It's ridiculous. Cobra knows Lynn is a pirate with a bounty of 200 million, and he still uses it? It's too weird. We have to check this guy, Cobra. You're crazy. Don't talk nonsense. Cobra is one of the member countries of the world government and has a lot of power to speak. We can't just check it out. Many Marine executives started discussing. None of you have grasped the point. Let me tell you something. People like Lynn must have a devil fruit about rain. It can rain a lot, and the interval can be very short. Could it be the rain fruit? Doberman added. If it is true, the value of this fruit is huge. Yes, as long as the devil fruit can change the sky, it cannot be ignored. Let me add one more point. That is the sand crocodile. Why is there no movement at all? This is the strangest thing. If I remember correctly, sand crocodiles frequently appeared in front of the people of Alabasta as national heroes a while ago. Admiral Akainu picked up Doberman. That's right, the sand crocodile used to protect the ports of Alabasta just like Lynn, and was very diligent in killing the pirates who invaded the kingdom. It's like, now Lynn has taken over the burden of the sand crocodile. Ghost Spider Vice Admiral also expressed his point of view. It's weird, this Lynn and the sand crocodile are putting in so much effort there, and they are erecting the archway and working hard. What are they doing? Pirates of their level will never do things that are thankless. Garp also summed it up. Marshal, I think it would be better for you to send a capable general to check there. Garp's proposal was also seconded by Akainu and the others. Well, that's exactly what I wanted to do. It happened that Admiral's candidate for the T-Dolphin came back from work and passed by Alabasta. Let him go and have a look. Sengoku nodded and immediately made arrangements. Rain Land, in the underground palace of the Rain Banquet of the Grand Casino. Crocodile, the sand crocodile, is frowning deeply, looking at the World Economic newspaper covered on the table. At this moment, he is very irritable. Originally, Naval Headquarters put pressure on him to deal with Lynn, but he didn't intend to provoke him. Who knows that Lynn provokes him by accident? Not only did he improve the decertified city, but he also frequently took away his role in protecting the country. Even the pirate groups that he cooperated with all the year round were wiped out. In addition, the Baroque work agency that he hid very deeply was also pried up and made public. He even went so far recently that he exposed the Utopia battle plan that he had planned so hard. Even Ben Sam, the clone fruit-capable player, the most important piece in the plan, was arrested because he was found pretending to be the king. For a moment, Crocodile felt like he was being driven crazy by this BD. Lynn. After a while, he stood up and smashed the entire large solid wooden table into powder with one palm. Since you were so aggressive, let's just end it. Lousy can't bear it anymore. Dry. I don't believe you are the nemesis of my sand crocodile. Crocodile, are you? But at this moment, a graceful figure walked in. This is a charming and beautiful woman with gorgeous facial features, wearing a cowboy hat and a tight leather skirt that perfectly outlines her lethal figure. Vice President of Baroque Works Robin. I'm going to kill Lynn. Crocodile's eyes were full of killing intent. Robin has been in contact with him for a long time and knows that he is a scheming master, but he didn't expect that he would lose his composure like this today. I have to say, this Lynn is really amazing. Lynn is now the most popular person in the kingdom. Not to mention the reporters from various countries queuing up to interview him every day. There are thousands of fans around his residence every day. Can you find a good opportunity to kill him? Also, I received a message that Admiral's candidate, Choppy, is coming here. Robin followed up with a message that calmed Crocodile down. Admiral alternate? Although Crocodile doesn't care about Vice Admiral and the like, he has to be cautious about Admiral's backup. Every Admiral candidate has a strength close to Admiral, which should not be underestimated. Hateful. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge. Activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 036. I think you can still sit still. 3 more. Alabasta, Albana. Albana is the capital of the kingdom, the residence of the royal family, and the most prosperous place in the kingdom. Recently, a palace in the residence of the royal family suddenly became lively, surrounded by many fanatical people every day. King Cobra had to send hundreds of guards here to maintain order. Lynn! Lynn! Hiyori! Hiyori! God Lynn, you are electricity. You are light. You light our way. Holy Maiden of the Sun, you are the spring rain. You are the winter snow, which nourishes our Mother Earth. And you are our reborn mother. Master Lynn, I want to give birth to monkeys for you. Give birth to 10. Sister, you are right. Rysanus, I want to talk to you. You stupid BD. The sun and the saint can be profaned by rubbish like you. Kill you. Hit him. How dare you blaspheme the saint and break all 3 of his legs. FK, the saint is in my heart. She is as respected as my old mother. You want to have us X with my old mother. I will trample you to death. I was wrong, please forgive me, squeak. These fanatics are terrible. At Tsunade on the 3rd floor, I looked at it, shook my head, then closed the window, turned to the guys who were drinking afternoon tea leisurely and said, You guys, don't you plan to do something? Nakiri Erina, who was concentrating on serving the tea soup, put down the tea set in her hand when she heard the words. We can't guess what the captain is thinking. Isn't this good? I have never enjoyed a life where I can eat with clothes and mouth. But these days I have experienced a higher level of enjoyment as a royal guest. Alas, I feel that I have changed. Even if Lynn asked me to go adrift at sea again, I feel that I can't do it anymore. At this time, Ma Yin, who was dressed in royal attire opposite Erina, was sipping tea soup attentively. Her face was full of intoxication, and she looked leisurely like an aristocrat. A certain cutie, who was devoting herself to destroying her favorite dessert, agreed. After she finished speaking, she sighed, This is different from what I wanted. What I have always dreamed of is that after the Great Revolution is successful, I will simply sit on a park bench in the afternoon sun, surrounded by people of all ages. Some people, with admiration and warmth, are quietly listening to me talking about the hard struggle during the revolution, amazed from time to time, and clap their hands from time to time. But now it seems pretty good, huh? Where's that Lynn guy? I was called away by the king again. I think he took the initiative to find a king a lot of times, and the way he looked at Princess Vivi seemed wrong. Yes, I must have fallen in love with her princess. She ran so diligently. Scumbag. And that senior reporter, Siebel, who dresses up like a goblin these days, her eyes are about to burst into flames. Xiao Haiori, don't keep an eye on Lynn. Be careful not to be eaten. It's all about. Do you have no confidence in our little saint or overestimate the foreign enemy? Just when there were 2 women in one drama and 4 women in 100 ducks, Lynn came back. Okay, don't be idle anymore. It's time for the final battle. Be ready at any time. He was not as leisurely as before, but instead had a serious expression on his face. Because just now he released the last big news. He didn't expect that even if he did this these days and exposed all the plans of the Sand Crocodile one by one, the other party could still hold back and didn't come to the door. Even the king's army went to the night banquet to search the day before yesterday, but they couldn't find the other party, and there was no response. Crocodile, I think you should stop calling yourself a crocodile and call yourself a turtle. Therefore, Lynn has no choice but to let the king explode. Take out his 7 warlords of the sea, for sure. Lynn secretly took a look at his own reputation, which had almost risen to 70,000, and this idea became even more firm. Crocodile, hurry up and be conscious. Whether I, Lynn, or impel down, you will end up with these 2. On the Great Route, a warship is sailing. This warship is specially made and has a much faster speed than ordinary warships, but at this time the speed is much slower than ordinary warships. On the deck of the warship, at this time, there was a slightly wretched-looking man in brown casual clothes and a fisherman's hat, who was leisurely drinking frozen juice and basking in the sun. Very comfortable. Marine Admiral's candidate Gaji, codenamed T-Dolphin. Additionally, Vice Admiral, the headquarters just called, ordering us to hurry to Alabasta. The situation over there may have changed. At this time, his adjutant came over and told him the new order. Hey, those people in the headquarters are in a hurry to do everything. What's the use of it? Why don't they wait for the 2 gangs to fight each other to the death? And then I go to take advantage of the fishermen. Are we forced to rush to the front and carry 2 groups of people? Why are the old-fashioned fools who have changed? Brothers come out to be marine, just for a bite of food. It's not worth it to risk your life. What is it for absolute justice? Smashing and serving the country? Sakazuki and the others often use it to brainwash the horse boys below. Jiaji's sunbathing event was interrupted, and he was a little upset, so he complained. Adjutant, Mr. Cake, you say that about Sakazuki, Admiral. Isn't it good? Master Jiaji, the situation this time is a bit different from last time. Look at the headlines of today's World Economic News. The adjutant hurriedly took out the World Economic News that he had just received and pointed to the headlines on it to show him. Those 2 pirates have become heroes and saintesses. What else can change? Even if the Sand Crocodile makes a move, that's just what I want. The T-Dolphin didn't think so, but he took a look at the newspaper and stood up abruptly. Damn it, is there such a thing? Hiss. Sengoku, you sent Admiral over here. I am a substitute for Admiral. How can I last? No, CP must have taken action too. Jiaji touched the back of his head, feeling that the problem was a bit serious. Alabasta, it's exciting. Then how can we miss us? Pass the order and move forward at full speed. In a relatively hidden building in the rainy land, according to insiders, Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea, has received information about the whereabouts of the ancient weapon Pluton, according to your XX disclosure. Damn it. Boom. Sand Crocodile smashed the big table again after reading the headline report of the World Economic News. Then he said to Robin on the side, Robin, go and gather all the rest of the Baroque works. Aim for the palace. Robin nodded, Cade with no expression on his face. Yes. After Robin went down, Crocodile smoked a cigar to calm himself down. Lynn, who are you? Why are you like the roundworm in my stomach? No matter how secretive I am, you can know things that I haven't even started. Could it be that you came from the future? Lynn even knew about his plan to plot Pluton, which was the final plan he buried deep in his stomach, not to mention the slightest leak, and he never even mentioned the word Pluton. At this moment, he, who had always boasted that he was exhaustive, finally gave up and could only take the last way to come back by force. P.S. The author updates more than 10,000 words a day. Please vote for support. Don't ask for a reward to remind those who spend money. Just ask for free tickets. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 037. Favorite flavor for more? New World, in a building on an island. A birdman wearing a black top hat, a light blue shirt, red and white plaid pants, and a black cloak is encouraging his subordinates with enthusiasm. Hurry up and publish a weekly magazine with this theme. Mr. Lace episodes, etc. Anyway, we have to do everything. We must not miss this good opportunity to make money. Morgan's. Zoan bird fruit albatross form ability. He is also one of New World's underground giants, the president of World Economic News, and controls the extremely powerful public opinion voice in One Piece world. Right now, he is excited by the rising sales of the World Economic newspaper. Siebel. It's the most surprising discovery I've had in the past few years. He couldn't help but sigh with emotion. In the past few months, because the world has been too quiet, there are basically no major events happening. As a result, the sales volume of the World Economic News has dropped by 30% to 40% compared to the previous peak. Just when he was trying to figure out a solution with many news agency executives, but couldn't turn the situation around. Unexpectedly, more than half a month ago, Siebel, who was stationed at Whiskey Peak, changed this downward trend by herself. Yes, do it yourself. Just when Siebel made the first blockbuster news and increased the newspaper sales by 5%, Morgans and many editors only thought it was luck. After all, Marine Vice Admiral can only run rampant in the first half of the Grand Line. On the New World side, not to mention defeat, it is common to be killed. However, since the explosive news, Morgans has paid attention to Siebel. Because her ability to hold fire is too strong, she is very skilled in such techniques as shocking body, boasting first and then belittling, suppressing first and then exalting. So, he quickly approved Siebel's application to follow up with Lynn and let her go to Alabasta. After that, Siebel created a series of explosive news about God of the Desert Kingdom, and even pulled the sales of the World Economic News back to the peak of 80% a year ago. Naturally, he would not be stingy with rewards, and directly promoted Shi Bayer to a senior reporter and listed him as a candidate for a special reporter. Today's battle will determine whether the World Economic News will return to the peak of the past few years. If I remember correctly, the sales peak of the World Economic News in recent years was when the red-haired Shanks reached the peak of New World and officially became the Emperor of the Sea. Morgans does not seek to achieve and surpass. Even if he can recover 90%, it is worthy of celebration by the entire news agency. It shouldn't be a big problem. After all, it's the Pluton, one of the 3 ancient weapons, plus the factor of the 7 warlords of the sea. Morgus thought to himself. But at this moment, he received another call from Siebel. Okay, the news agency fully supports you, but you also pay attention to safety. After hanging up the phone, Morgans began to grind his wings and claws. The desert series is finally coming to the climax. Albana. The sky is dark today, no longer the previous continuous sunny weather. Whoa! There was also a strong wind that blew sand and gravel, gradually turning the whole sky yellow. It looks like a sandstorm is coming. The wind and sand dispersed most of the fanatical fans around Lynn's residence, but there were still diehards sticking around. This sandstorm also made everyone in the palace nervous, because just now King Cobra gave an order. Raise the alert to the highest level. In fact, in the past few days, as people have been robbing prisons and taking away members of the Baroque work club such as Bentham, the alert level of the palace has been at a very high level. Today is even fuller. Being clever, he already had a faint sense of what was about to happen. Lynn's residence is far away. At this time, the girls are also ready to fight, as if they are facing a big enemy. Could it be that Lynn is a little nervous? This kind of wind and sand is very common in the Desert Kingdom. Mayne, who was holding the romantic fort pumpkin cannon, said in a sleepy voice. The high mental tension for a long time made her a little sleepy. The royal palace is the most dangerous place. We shouldn't be in too much danger if we stay here, so don't be too nervous, Ma Yin. Nakiri Erina, who was on the side, comforted him. Humph, I'm the strongest sniper. It's disgusting to leave me here as a guard. It's okay not to say anything, but when she mentions Ma Yin, she will get angry. Fomin Rai and Tsunade both followed Lynn to the palace to escort her, but the two of them were left in a relatively safe place. Ma Yin, why you stay here is not because you want to protect me. Woo woo woo. I'm useless. I'm hurting everyone. I'll practice hard in the future. Erina was a little aggrieved. Erina, that's not what I meant, Mayne quickly explained. Squeak. But at this moment, the door opened. When the two looked at each other, it turned out that Lynn had returned. Lynn, why are you back? Sister Tsunade and the others. The two were a little surprised. It's dangerous here. Pack up and follow me to the palace. Lynn looked worried and said a little hastily. Clear. After Lynn said that, the two of them got up immediately and wanted to go out with Lynn. At this moment, Erina secretly winked at Ma Yin. Well, where did the little saint go? Lynn asked casually, completely unaware that Ma Yin's pumpkin cannon had locked onto him, and began to convert mental energy into kinetic energy of the cannon. What are you doing? Lynn is also a veteran of the world and immediately discovered the mutation of the pumpkin cannon and was about to do it when she was shocked. But it's too late now. Boom! A blazing and ferocious yellow energy column blasted out from the muzzle of the pumpkin cannon, blasting him out of the room fiercely. Wow, this is the power of the pumpkin cannon? So strong. Nakiri Erina, who was blown back again and again by the exhausted energy, was obviously excited. It was the first time she saw Ma Yin use her natal taigo. Humph, this is just a trivial test. It's not worth it. Ma Yin had a proud face, and the corners of her mouth curled up to show her pride. The two quickly went out and called the guards to see how the unlucky ghost was doing. Behind several broken walls, they finally saw Bentham, who had been robbed and left before. He was bombarded by mana, leaving a big hole in his chest, blood pouring out like a fountain, and he was dying. But he seemed very reconciled. He waited until Ma Yin and the others arrived and asked, How did you find me? My clone fruit can imitate 100%. It's impossible to find out that I'm a fake just by meeting each other. Mayne looked at Nakiri Erina. She couldn't find it anyway. If it wasn't for Nakiri Erina's eyes, maybe it was to fulfill the wish of a dying person. Nakiri Erina said truthfully, because your smell is different from Lynn's, and Lynn's smell is my favorite. So, it's the taste? Bentham got the answer he wanted, and the hanging breath dissipated immediately, and he died with a smile on his face. Erina, is your nose so good? Ma Yin stepped forward and sniffed vigorously. Although the smell of blood was eliminated, she still couldn't tell the difference between Bentham's smell and Lynn's. A qualified chef, in addition to having a tongue that tastes all kinds of flavors, must also have a sensitive nose. Otherwise, he will not be able to cook delicious food with all the flavors. Nakiri Erina was as proud as a little hen that just laid an egg and crowed everywhere. I'm not interested in these things. What I'm interested in is your sentence. What is Lynn's flavor that I like the most? Can you explain it in detail here? My little Nana. However, Ma Yin's next words made her run away with a flushed face. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 038. Crocodile. Let me, Lynn, teach you a lesson. The Royal Palace of Albana. As the crocodile gang broke through the defense line and rushed to the palace, the final showdown will take place here. Sand crocodile? It's no different from what I remember. The dead fish eyes on the indifferent beings are still so disgusting at first sight. However, this guy still has a lot of ideas. He even used the sandstorm caused by sand fruit to kill him, and directly broke through the defenses of tens of thousands of soldiers. Lynn looked at the leading brother opposite, without any panic. He has done so much to get the crocodile to come to his door, and now he has his wish. He doesn't seem to have a strong aura. Could it be the reason why I have become stronger? Lynn was a little surprised when the casino sensed the other party's breath. The aura exuded by the sand crocodile is not even half as strong as Tsunade. Before seeing the sand crocodile, Lynn felt that he had a good chance of winning. After seeing the sand crocodile, he even had a 100% chance of winning. Oh, I see. This guy relies too much on fruit abilities, and his training in hockey and physical skills is very sparse, so we can't rely on the strength of his body to measure his combat power. If you go according to the guests of the senior Jaime at Blue Star, this guy may have been injured by Whitebeard. Otherwise, it can't explain why he was so weak in the early stage. Even Luffy could lose, and he only raised him and impelled down for a while in the later stage. Time, but can be evenly divided with those big guys in Summit War. Of course, Lynn isn't taking things lightly. This battle must be won. After finishing it, he can look forward to a bounty of more than 500 million. Knock off 7 warlords of the sea. Well worth the price. Especially in addition to the various bonuses after the news of Pluton was revealed. Lynn. The first time he saw Lynn, Crocodile's eyes began to turn a faint blood red. This is an undisguised killing intent. As the 7 warlords of the sea, he didn't go to the New World, but hid in this broken desert kingdom for many years, planning painstakingly. Seeing that the plan was about to enter an important stage, he was disrupted by the appearance of the other party. Not only has the title of national hero been robbed, but even the well-run Baroque workplace has been knocked out, and even the ultimate goal, Pluton, will become out of reach. Counting all these grievances, if he didn't smash the other party into thousands of pieces today, he would feel sorry for himself. Come on, stop talking nonsense. The information about Pluton is in the funeral hall, not far away. Go get it if you can. Crocodile? Lynn directly said the information that made Crocodile unable to hold back. How did you know I wanted Pluton? The aura on Crocodile's body was soaring, and he could hardly hold back his rushing strength. Because you were humiliated by Whitebeard. You will never be the strongest man Whitebeard's opponent in a head-to-head match, so you can only rely on Pluton's power to save face. I have to say, Crocodile, you let me down. Your whole life is either relying on fruit power or external objects. You never thought of relying on your own strength. This is the worst idea. Crocodile, here today, Lynn, will teach you a lesson. I can easily beat you down without using fruit power. Lynn stood up, stretched her muscles and bones, and was ready for the duel between the king and the king. Even if he doesn't use Op fruit ability, but now he has tens of thousands of strength, full level 6 style, and armament hockey. If he can't even easily win against Luffy's sand crocodile who lost to the chicken, then he will still have chance to become the strongest. Don't use the fruit ability? Teach me a lesson? Lynn, you are too arrogant. However, his sincere confession, in the eyes of Crocodile, is indeed naked and extremely ironic. If you don't use all your skills, you will definitely die in my hands very soon. Crocodile is ready to shoot. I really don't understand why you men talk so much nonsense when you fight. It's really Ying. However, at this moment, a figure rushed up without hesitation and left a disdainful word. Lynn. Crocodile. Boom! In a blink of an eye, Crocodile caught this figure and punched him. But in the next second, he regretted it, because the opponent's punch was too terrifying. For a split second, he thought he was facing Whitebeard again. Of course, the power of this punch is not as strong as that of Whitebeard. At most, it is only 70%. But it is also rare in the world, enough to crush him. Boom! Half of his body was directly beaten into countless sand grains that exploded away. Oh no, the whole body turned into flying sand grains. Wow! 10 meters away, his figure reorganized. Elementalization exclusive to Logia Devil Fruit. Without armament hockey, this kind of existence would be impossible. As soon as Crocodile reorganized his body, his arm immediately turned into a giant sand knife and waved towards the coming person. Sand Fruit Desert Sword. This knife was very fierce. When it was cut down, it even made the air Zila sound. In the original book, Crocodile even split hundreds of meters of desert with one knife. Clang! There was a sound of gold and stone hitting each other, and Crocodile's knife was blocked by someone who came. But the person who came was also sent flying back several steps by Peyron's forceful blow, and the attack was stopped. Armament Haki? Woman. When Crocodile found out that the person who came was actually a super beautiful woman with snow-like skin, he couldn't help being stunned. Since Lynn followed Feng Inri and Tian Tian to appear in God-making, he was so radiant that he completely ignored the other people around Lynn. So besides knowing the woman's name is Tsunade, he really has no other information about this extremely mature woman in front of him. I didn't expect the opponent to have such a strong strength. And the opponent's armament Haki seems to have a high level of cultivation. So this is troublesome. Crocodile stared at the pale black vitality covering Tsunade's hands and felt a headache. In Logia Demon Fruit Power, the most hated ability must be armament Haki. If there is no armament Haki in this world, then Logia Demon Fruit Power must be the pinnacle of fruit power users. Clang! At this time, a situation similar to that of the sand crocodile being attacked by Tsunade also happened on Lynn's side. A figure also jumped up and slashed at Lynn at a speed that was almost invisible to the naked eye. This knife was actually cut with an arm as a knife. At this moment, Iran raised the attacker's arm violently, and Iran turned into an extremely sharp knife. No! What appeared on the arm was a real blade. Baroque Studio Mr. 1. Das Bonus, who ate Paramecia's quick-cut fruit ability. Also Crocodile's number 1 Admiral. His full-strength knife can easily cut a mountain in half. He asked himself that even if Lynn could block his full-strength assault, he would suffer a small loss. However, let's go to the side. Don't come to die for nothing. Lynn was visibly upset at his attack, ignoring his punch. Boom! Lynn punched seemingly inadvertently, but it carried extremely terrifying power. At that moment, Danis felt that the sky was falling apart, and the visual picture of the whole world in front of him seemed to be shattered by this punch, and it was quickly stained with a bright red color. In the next moment, he felt that the arm that collided with Lynn was crippled. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge. Activity time. April 29th to May 3rd, 039. Destroy Lynn. Approaching the awakening power. 6 more. Yes, Danis's arm, which was as strong as steel and stronger than a blade, was smashed to pieces by Lynn's casual punch at this moment, and he couldn't use any strength. Not only that, but the internal organs in his body were seriously injured. Only at this moment did he understand why the world in front of him turned bright red. It turned out that the blood that he vomited out was stained red. How is it possible? How could he be so strong? I'm a fast-cutting man, the blade man. My body, internal organs, are much stronger than steel. Faced with this absolute crushing, Danis' confidence was severely damaged, and he almost collapsed. No wonder he would call me babe. In his eyes, I really look like a bug that can be crushed to death. I am too weak in front of him. Boom! As Danis was hit by Lynn, smashed through the thick wall of the palace and flew outside, the scene was quiet again, especially for the crocodile camp. Except for Crocodile, everyone's eyes were full of panic. Danis is Crocodile's number 1 fighter. Over the years, he has killed countless difficult people. Even if it was a pirate with a reward of 50,000 to 60,000, several of them died in his hands. And Danis's bounty is as high as 75 million berry, second only to Crocodile's 81 million berry, before becoming 7 warlords of the sea. In their impression, Danis was ridiculously strong, so strong that he had never been defeated. However, such a strong man, in front of Lynn, couldn't even shake his fist lightly, like chasing flies. Therefore, not only Danis' worldview collapsed, but theirs also collapsed. Some of them even believed the rumor that Lynn was a god before they believed it. They knelt down on the spot and called Lynn a god. High-level armament Haki. Even Crocodile was taken aback at this time. He has traveled a new world and even challenged the existence of the strongest man in the world, Whitebeard. So he still has eyesight, and he immediately discovered the secret of Lynn's punch. Lynn has mastered the high-level armament Haki, so he's going to have a ball. Crocodile felt a little guilty. Logia fruit ability users hate opponents who know armament Haki, and the most hated ones are naturally bastards who have mastered high-level armament Haki. This level of armament hockey, even the General Marine Vice Admiral can't master it. What is this, Lynn? Crocodile was caught between a rock and a hard place. Don't think about it, just fight. But thinking that Lynn would not let him go, Crocodile started to feel evil. Hey, see you, Yin. Your opponent is me. Don't bother our captain. On the other hand, Tsunade doesn't want to stop here. With her explosive power, she is also the master of the Hokage world. For more than half a month, watching Xiao Rai and Lin pretending to be ghosts every day has long been exhausted. So I finally had the opportunity to show my skills today. How could I let it go so easily? Princess Tsunade, step back and take care of Ma Yin and the others. Just leave this place to me. And Lin stopped her at this moment. If he hadn't said he was going to give Crocodile a lesson, he might have had Tsunade play against him. Okay, it can't be like this next time. Tsunade felt very disappointed, but thought that Ma Yin and Nakiri Erina were powerless and really needed protection, so they ran away in a hurry. Okay, Crocodile, you can let go. It's just the two of us fighting. In the next moment, Lin screened everyone on her side. Crocodile did the same. But when his subordinates received the word to evacuate here, they immediately dispersed, basically running away. Seeing that the hearts of the people on his side have dispersed, Crocodile also knows that he has failed today. To turn the tide and make a comeback, there is only one way out. Beat Lin in front of you. Can you defeat him? Crocodile felt a dull pain somewhere in his body. That was the injury Whitebeard left him. So many years later, it still hasn't disappeared. This is caused by Whitebeard's awakened shock fruit ability. Ordinary remedies are of no use at all. Today, Lin's strength has put him under great pressure, and this old injury that he hasn't felt for a long time has faintly flared up. It would be great if I could awaken the fruit ability like Whitebeard. I'm just one step away. Crocodile sighed, and then he attacked suddenly. Desert Vajra Saber. His hands turned into 4 large sand blades, 4 times more than the ones that attacked Tsunade just now. A sudden horizontal cut would cover a radius of 100 meters. Too slow, Crocodile. Bang, bang, bang. Lin raised her right hand, pressed 5 fingers slightly, and 5 flying fingers rushed out. This crescent-like slash strikes above, with traces of armament hockey. All of a sudden, Crocodile's pupils shrank again. The finger grab ultimate extension skill in the 6 forms. Flying finger grab. Damn you, you can still attach armament hockey to it. Monster! He couldn't help roaring out. Just relying on the terrifying range of this move, he has almost nothing to play. The most terrible thing is that Lin can make 5 flying fingers with one hand. Doesn't this mean that he can shoot with 10 fingers in an instant, unleashing a slashing frenzy of flying fingers? And this slashing frenzy also comes with advanced armament hockey. Then you can't play anymore. Erosion of reincarnation. Desert sunflower. Crocodile chose to avoid the 5 flying fingers, but he quickly put one hand on the ground. In an instant, the royal palace turned into a desert. No matter how hard the rocks and city walls are, at this moment, they have been completely sucked out of water, completely eroded and assimilated, and turned into fine grains of sand. Even those metals are rapidly rotting and oxidizing, losing their luster. A small hand with ears in a hidden corner was also destroyed. In an instant, the resplendent palace hall completely collapsed and became a ruin. Countless grains of sand are floating and turning, carrying inexplicable power. Even the land under Lin's feet has become a deep and sunken quicksand trap. In a very short period of time, through erosion and assimilation, one side of the landscape has been changed. This is a power that is very close to awakening. In that case, that would explain why Crocodile did so well in Summit War. When this guy was in the Impel down, he broke through the shackles of the fruit ability and then awakened. In this case, I'm afraid it will be a bit difficult to defeat him in 3 moves. However, without using the Op fruit ability, I will go all out and see if I can beat him in 10 rounds. While Lin was amazed, thoughts flashed through his mind like lightning, making him make a decision right away. Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time, April 29th to May 3rd, 0:40. None of the 3 tricks? I still overestimate you in the palace. Lynn and Crocodile started a big fight. But outside the palace, the scuffle continued. King Cobra led the king's army, and with the help of Fongin Rai, they were chasing and killing the people on Crocodile's side. Because of the turmoil in the army and the strong advantage of the king's army, Crocodile is already in chaos. Only some core backbones see the gradual desertification of the palace. There is still some hope, and they are stubbornly resisting. But there are already some signs of the situation being over. And somewhere on the edge of the palace, there was a woman in a leather jacket and short skirt wearing a cowboy hat and sunglasses, and covered her face with a dark silk scarf. And go. It was Robin. The battle started when she and Crocodile applied to join Bentham in kidnapping Lynn's weak-looking female companions. Of course, she got cold feet. Moreover, by using Flower Fruit's ear flowering ability, Lynn overheard the place where Pluton's information was hidden. West of the royal palace, royal tomb, funeral hall. With a clear place, Robin can't hold back anymore. Right now, the palace is under attack, and the whole place is in chaos. There is no one guarding places like the royal tomb, so she quickly entered inside and headed towards the funeral hall. At this time, the decisive battle in the depths of the palace has also reached its final juncture. Crocodile unleashed all the power of Sand Fruit, turning everything within a radius of nearly a mile into his home field. Although his fruit ability has not been fully awakened, it has already achieved a large degree of erosion and assimilation. Therefore, sooner or later, all the life in it will be absorbed by the floating water or the sand under the feet and become a mummified corpse. At this moment, Lynn also discovered various clues. Although the iron body in the 6 forms can make the body like steel after activation, enhance resistance, and slow down the plundering of water by floating sand in the air, it is still in a state of water loss. Only the armament haki covering the whole body is immune to such erosion and plunder. As soon as Lynn thought about it, she switched to the state where armament haki is fully covered. But this will consume much more energy. In this case, I won't be able to fight him for a long time. The Logia fruit ability still has unique advantages. Changing the environment and assimilating everything are already in similar fields. Chilla, but at this moment, there was a soft sound under Lynn's feet. As soon as there was a soft sound, Lynn was rushed out and stabbed by a huge sword formed of sand and stones. Fast and fierce. The attack speed was a bit beyond Lynn's expectation. The Desert Sword, the enhanced version of the Desert Sword, the attack speed and attack power are extremely pervert, and it will be used by him to hit Akainu during the Summit War in the future. It doesn't work for me, though. Maximum level armament haki plus 6 style iron body. In the first half of this grand line, there are no more than 10 people who can break my defense, but there will never be used sand crocodile in it. Though thinking this way, Lynn still felt a dull pain in her abdomen. The lethality of the Desert Sword is really not weak. If you switch to the Sand Crocodile of Summit War, will this move make you popular? It's my turn! Being stabbed in the air by the Desert Sword, Lynn immediately counterattacked, locked on Crocodile, and kicked out a Tempest Kick. This Tempest Kick, like a terrifying slash from a huge sword, came to Crocodile in an instant. And Crocodile immediately elementalized and dodged this trick. Even the Tempest Kick that was kicked was eroded by the fine sand floating in the air, which weakened its power a bit. Strange. How did Luffy win against such a sand crocodile? Whoosh! Lynn shaved and dodged directly behind Crocodile. It's shaving? So fast. Oops. Crocodile did not expect that the gap of more than 20 meters would be erased in the blink of an eye. It dawned on him at this moment. Lynn not only has a very high level of armament haki, but even Marine 6 styles has also cultivated extremely profoundly. Boom! Lynn was full of Haki's grasp, and armament haki overflowed, forming a cage in the state of emission, and directly grabbed Crocodile's elemental real body. But, clank, 3 Desert Swords suddenly burst out from the ground, stabbing Lynn. Boom! And Lynn immediately returned a punch, knocking Crocodile away hard. Come and hurt each other. It's a pity you can't break my defense. So strong. This punch made Crocodile understand why Danis was so fragile that he couldn't even take a punch from the opponent. At this time, he was also in severe pain from the punch, and he was bewildered and vomited blood. Worst of all, he could even feel the power of armament hockey exploding inside his body. Destroy. Hurt everywhere. Very deadly. There was also another sequelae. Bursts of loss of strength suddenly swept over his whole body and brought about an extremely strong drowsiness. Don't fall asleep. Don't sleep. He even bit his tongue in panic, but it was still useless. Boom! Crocodile slammed into one of the half-remained walls and almost passed out. No matter how strong the fruit is, if you are not strong, you will be Kaikus Suigetsu after all. Do you understand? Crocodile, seeing that you have such a powerful fruit ability, but you can't even take 3 moves from me. It seems that I still overestimated it. You, Lynn said loudly. Seeing Crocodile go crazy, he thought it would be more difficult. He estimated that it would take 10 moves to knock him down, but he still couldn't beat him with 3 moves. It is really as he said, Crocodile's body is relatively weak. If Crocodile had a body like Danis's, with the help of the fruit ability that was about to awaken, then there would still be some fights in this fight. However, what Lynn said was as if nothing had happened. In fact, the 3 desert swords that Crocodile countered also caused him a small loss. Of course, for Lynn, it only takes 10 minutes to recover, but the place where he was stabbed hurts a bit. Being so humiliated in public made Crocodile, who was already arrogant by nature, furious. He was about to say something to refute, but his eyes went dark for no reason. He was severely injured and out of breath, but he passed out directly. When Crocodile fell, the remaining members of the Baroque studio and other rebel coalition forces all fled if they dared to stay here. But it was already too late at this time. Fomin Rai activated his ability, causing a heavy rain to fall over the palace, and quickly washed away all the floating sand in the sky. Those who wanted to take advantage of the favorable environment, where the floating sand filled the sky to affect their sight lines, were all arrested. Just when Lynn and King Cobra thought it was over, suddenly there was a siren sounding from the west side of the palace, which was very sharp. Oops! Someone has sneaked into our royal tomb. Cobra yelled bad when he heard the siren. After all, it was the burial place of my ancestors, so what if outsiders broke in and messed with it? Your Majesty, you lead someone to clean up the battlefield. I'll go and have a look. Before Lynn could finish speaking, she disappeared. As soon as Cobra mentioned the royal tombs, Lynn guessed which invasion it was. Besides the guy who risked his life to find the text of history, who else could it be? Book reading fun on Friday. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge activity time, April 29th to May 3rd, 041. Conditions for letting go. One more. Cobra originally wanted to take people there by himself, but seeing Lynn being so active, he gave up. Right now, the most important thing is to wipe out the crocodile remnants. After all, after experiencing the turmoil of the national riots and the rebellion of the rebel army, Alabasta could no longer withstand similar torture in a short period of time.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.